months of conflict is set to expire today. This phase facilitated the release of 33 hostages and nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners.
In northern India, an avalanche struck a highway construction site near Mana Pass, resulting in the deaths of at least 4 workers.
Rescue teams have retrieved 50 workers, with efforts ongoing to locate 5 others still missing.
Guyana's President Irfan Ali condemned a Venezuelan naval incursion into disputed waters containing an ExxonMobil-operated oil field. Benjamin Wright reports.
Ali announced that Guyana has alerted international allies.
In Maryland, a trench collapse during home renovations in Catonsville led to the deaths of 2 construction workers.
The incident occurred following the failure of a retaining wall, trapping the workers.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
That's what the problem is right up there.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Yeah, you want to laugh about climate change, a.k.a. global warming, global cooling, global gaseousness, global gaseousness. Yeah. Honestly, the good part. I don't want to do that. Get out of my we'll see if this loopy thing is going to loop itself. Yeah, look at that. It's no.
Wake up.
You can't trust these loopy buttons. You just can't. I tested it 4 times. Oh, maybe that's an exaggeration. Maybe twice. Anyway, good morning, folks. It is Monday. Monday, March 3rd, 2025. I'm in a particularly extra grumpy mood today, and I'll tell you why. I did a little party Saturday night, a little party over in the very affluent area of West Hampton Beach, Dune Road. Went well, very happy party, nice people, beautiful people, lovely people. And let me backtrack a little bit. A couple of weeks ago, I put a post on Facebook saying that if you have been, if you're a vet or somebody who's prone to suicidal ideation or thinking about suicide because your benefits have been cut by Elon Musk and Doge and Trump, and you just need somebody to talk to because the suicide hotline people have been let go, or the crisis hotline have been let go. The VA crisis hotline people have been let go. You can call me anytime, day or night. And apparently somebody was calling me while I was driving home from what are we getting here? Somebody can't hear me. Anyway, yeah, Bob, what are you bothering me with private chat stuff now? I'm talking. Sorry. See, I told you I was extra grumpy today. In driving home from West Hampton Beach there, I did not hear the phone ring. And then I got a text saying from somebody who said, I saw your Facebook post about people who are suicidal. I need to talk. And I immediately text back. I'm in the middle now of kind of bringing stuff in the house, all my equipment, yeah, painting equipment, yeah. And it took me a minute to respond, and then she wasn't there. I'm thinking the worst. Are you okay? I mean, I'm here. You can call now. I'm sorry I missed your call. And I'm suspecting the worst, and I'm thinking she might have killed herself. Turns out she didn't. She was on, and she gave me her name in text, her first name. And then I saw somebody on Facebook saying they were outdoors freezing to death. Nobody cares. Everybody's abandoned her. I'm thinking this is the same person. So I reached out and I said, where are you? If you need shelter tent, because she was sleeping outdoors last night. It was 18 degrees outdoors, and she's freezing to death, she says. And if I wake up tomorrow, it will be a miracle. Now my heart is bleeding. I say, where are you? If you need a room and shelter for the night, you can sleep on my couch. We'll find room for you here. Even the floor is better than sleeping on the street. And she got back to me and said she really needs a place, and she's very connected within the comedy world. She was giving me all these names of people who've been on the show who could be references for it. Why? And some of them are very affluent themselves. Why are they not taking her in? And this is, red flag. You know, all these people, a lot of these people have big money. Why are they not taking you in? But I can't. Why is it always up to me? And I'm sorry, this is the grumpiness in me. Why is it always up to me to be the one? Because we have taken in, my wife and I have taken in homeless people for years and years, and every single one of them has ended up burning us. Either robbing money, stealing money, doing other things that I don't really want to share, or just squatting and refusing to leave even after we got them on their feet, and had to get lawyers to evict them and go to courts and all that kind of stuff. So I said I will, I need to talk to my wife before I just say, yes, come and you could stay here a night. But if a night you don't leave, once they're in your house, they're there, and you can't just put them back out on the street. The cops will come and arrest you for just throwing somebody out on the street. And she was giving me all these references, but she's 150 miles, more than 150 miles away, upstate Westchester, which is not really upstate, but from here on Long Island, it's upstate New York, and it's colder there. And she's on the street, and she's starving, and she's freezing, and she's telling me her life story and sharing me all these people that she knows that we know in common. And again, I'm thinking, why are these people not taking her in? Anyway, so all night long, I could not sleep. I'm worried about this woman. And now my wife is a little burnt from having been burnt so many times, gun shy, I should say, from being burnt so many times by homeless people, that she's reluctant, because she's going to come and stay for a night. She's going to come all the way from Rochester. She's not just staying for a night. She's going to move in here. She says she has some potential assisted living places that might take her in. And I feel burdened, and I'm not sure what to do. And it's breaking my heart, because if somebody dies out on the street freezing while I know about it, that's on my karma, on my soul for eternity. But again, I'll keep coming back to why is nobody else? Why is nobody in Westchester willing to take somebody in who is dying out on the street? I'm really down on humanity right now. If there's anybody listening to this program, watching this program in Westchester County, New York, or even in Bronx, some Yonkers up there, and can just have a heart and help this person out. Now, I don't want to get into all the particulars of it, but she's got some physical ailments. She's got autism, staying in a shelter doesn't seem to be an option for her. But if she dies on the street, I may just fucking take a gun to my fucking head. Really. I just can't take the lack of humanity and empathy that we have in this world. So that's why I'm extra grumpy today. But we must carry on with this dopey little show. It's supposed to be a comedy show. Not so much today. We are in the second hour. We have Thomas Mizajewski. Thomas Mizajewski. Why do they always give me names? See, I'm extra grumpy. Did I mention I'm extra grumpy today? Thomas Mizajewski, who is the author of a book, Global Warming Will Kill the Fossil Fuel Industry. Okay, solving global warming will kill the fossil fuel industry. Here's the question, and the only question that really matters that I'm going to ask him, so he can prepare for this if he's listening. What will not solving the global warming, climate change, what will that kill? I think it's called humanity. It's called you and me. So we'll probably, and I think he's probably somebody who is on the side of, yes, this is something we should be addressing and trying everything we can to solve. I think that's what side he's going to be on. I don't know. I haven't read his book, but we'll talk to him in the second hour. So that's my grumpiness for you. If you're in Westchester, if you're in Yonkers, and if you're in Bronx, please help me out. Take this lady in while I work on my wife to try and soften her up to do this experiment one more time with people who are destitute, dying, freezing cold, living out on the street while you're cozy in your little warm bed. Sorry to be such a bummer. It's Monday and it's March. March is a Monday, really mundane month. It's just, well, here's the thing. Here's one good thing. It's been almost, we're coming up on a year anniversary of Willie losing his cord and getting stuck in a power cord and getting stuck in an airport for 3 days with no food, no money. Yay. I need some ketamine.
Mind Bloom is helping people achieve life-changing clinical and personal breakthroughs, alchemizing both the psychedelic medication, psychiatric care from psychiatric clinicians, coaches, we call psychedelic guides, and a lot of content and meditations and programs into this really transformational experience that, because it's delivered at home, costs a lot less and is a lot more convenient for people to receive.
See, I'm on the top.
Oh
no, that was right.
That was right. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, in the room with me now are the Steven. I'm homeless myself and can't help this person out. I don't even know what his last name is anymore, but we'll say
it's Ortiz.
All right, fine. Ron, I got a home, but I'm too far to help this person out. And GD, I don't give a fuck about humanity. Fenderson is here.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com. Are you a fossil looking for a new job because people don't want you to keep your old job? You can enroll in the MindDogTV.com's in retrainment centers. There, you can learn new skills like from fossils like me. MindDogTV.com. Enjoy this stuff.
Well,
local mercenaries.
The word suffering came up in text messages quite a bit last night, and I didn't have the heart to kind of drop out and enjoy the suffering. Makes you a better person, right? What doesn't kill you
makes you taller.
Just makes your life almost unlivable. It almost killed. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you almost dead.
What doesn't? I think the actual adage is what doesn't kill you gives you good material for the stage.
Actuarially, he's correct.
Norm had a bit about that, but I don't remember what it was because I haven't slept. I've been up worrying about this poor woman all night.
Don't.
What do you mean don't?
Don't worry about the woman.
Just don't care. If somebody's freezing to death on the street and you know about it.
No, I'm not saying don't care. I'm saying don't worry. There's a difference. You can care without worrying.
All right.
How do you accomplish that feat?
Yeah.
I do it all the time. I care about humanity. I don't worry about humanity.
You are a spicy granny. You know that?
I do the things. Look, I do the things that I can do. There's some things that are out of my control, and the things that are out of my control, I'm not going to bang my head against the wall. Some people, you know, if the woman knows all of these people, like you said, you know, why you 150 miles away? Why not someone closer? Why not?
Yeah, this is definitely a red flag. But she gave me these people as a point of reference because you should contact them. Well, if they're gonna say nice things about you, why can't they just let you sleep on their couch for tonight instead of letting you freeze to death? That's
even put up a room, put them in a room. Even a cheap hotel for like 30 or 40. Well, actually, I don't know what a cheap hotel is in New York, but
well, in Westchester. It's probably the same thing as in Maryland. But here's the thing.
Okay, so she wants something for $30, $40.
I should not. I feel weird even.
Can I ask you a question?
Wait. Let me just say that she did get a room somewhere like 3:30 this morning. A man paid for it, and you can guess what the sacrifice might have had to have been.
Oh,
he had to take a shower.
Well, shut up, GT. God.
What? I'm look, he asked the question. I don't know.
I said you can guess what the.
Okay, I did guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay. So
stop being dopey.
Here's my question though, Matt, and I'm only asking this because I have a what if brain. Okay, so assuming she knew all these people, these affluent people, these people who could have helped her, is there perhaps a reason that any of them did not want to?
Absolutely.
And is it a reason that should prevent you from sticking your neck out?
Yes. The answer to that is yes, and absolutely yes.
Okay, so
but if that doesn't take the pain of somebody dying on the street, freezing to death. They might have fucked up, and they might have fucked over lots of people in the past. Keep in mind, everybody that she gave references to were people from the comedy world, and comedians are fucked up people. This is
or it's a scam. She's not on the streets. She's just looking. Look, I recently had a cousin, a real cousin, a cousin that I actually know, reach out to me saying, "Look, can you send me $100? Can you put me up send me $100? I'm being evicted. I've been evicted. I'm staying in the hotel room." And he sends me a picture of a hotel room, and he goes on, and it's a cousin that I hadn't talked to for a little bit. And he goes on. So I reach out to some of my other people, and I said, "Are you aware that so and so is homeless?" And they said, "No, they never reached out to us." And one of my cousins got back and says, "Yeah, he was homeless last year when he borrowed some money from me. And he said, I'll pay it right back." And he actually recited the script, not word for word, but pretty much the same script, and he said this and he said this and all the things the person said to me, and he never paid me back. And so I got his mother's number, and I reached out to his mother because he said, "We're estranged. We don't talk to each other." She goes, "We're not estranged." She goes, "What is he talking about?" So it was a scam, but he was running out of people to scam because he had scammed so many people in our family. We have a big family, so we're not always talking about things. And he was just running out of people to scam. He goes, "Wait a second, I have a cousin in Westminster. Let me try scamming him."
Yeah. Well, in this case, she's not scamming for money. She's scamming to get off the street and freezing. I believe. I don't. Listen, we had people on the program before. Oh, not on the program. Somebody from the chat room. I had this guy on who was going to prove the existence of God, Pastor Dave, and the chat room was like really, really mean to him and not accepting any of his arguments. And I was very confrontational with him. But there was a guy in the audience who said he was starving. He just needed a couple of bucks for some food. And Andy Baker, who does the Fat Guy Cooks Again on YouTube, another fat guy cooks on YouTube. He does that show. He sent them some money, and then the guy was on me every day, emailing me for more money, more money, more money, more money. And I was like, "This is not an ATM, dude. You at some point, you have to go to social services and look. We're not going to keep sending you money every single day. This feels like you're using people." But she does. This doesn't feel like that. It feels like she needs a place to stay to not freeze to death when it's 20 degrees out.
Would it feel different to you if it wasn't a woman and it was a man saying the same thing to you?
No, I've taken in men. This almost all.
No, I'm talking about in this case because
it's the same thing. Somebody freezing on the street. They're not asking for money. They're asking for a warm place to stay for the night. The problem is with every one of these people that we've taken, a night they don't leave after a night. They stay, and they stay. She said she has prospects of alternative assisted living and all that kind of stuff. But why hasn't that happened yet?
So my question also is why you mentioned the autism. So why would that keep her from a shelter?
I don't know.
Because that doesn't track for me, and the reason I say that is I volunteered in homeless shelters. They have a lot of resources for people with mental issues. I feel like that's their specialty. If she's homeless with a mental issue, that's that's fucking ground zero. That's where she needs to go. It just it doesn't track right in my head. 150 miles away.
I'm going to disagree with you on that, Stephen. I do a lot of work in those places too. And people who have neurological problems, have psychological problems, get abused, they get raped, they get taken advantage of.
I know for a fact that is true, and I do know that's true. But that there is still a system in place, and I feel like you still have to at least try. Yes, those things do happen, but those things can happen. If she's sleeping on the street, somebody could walk by and rape her.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Or somebody could kidnap her, put her into trafficking, anything else. At this point, when you're in such a bad spot, you kind of have to pick your poison and just hope for the best. And I know that sucks. And I know you have a big bleeding heart for a grumpy old bastard. But at the end of the day, all signs point to this person may have only had nefarious plans in mind, whether it was just taking you for money, whether it was getting in your house. You're 150 miles away.
Right. And why can't anybody within that 150 miles an hour?
Well, it's all in my head. It's not why can't they? It's why won't they? Right. And there has to be a reason. And I feel like your wife might be more in the right in this sense. And you've stuck your neck out before. This one has so many red flags. The damn thing shines brighter than fucking anything else right now. So
yeah, I hear you. I agree. It has lots of red flags.
Please don't. I really would hate to see that tear you up.
Here's the biggest issue for me. I talk all the time about dying, how I would want to die, and my worst scenario for death is dying alone on the street, freezing to death, sleeping on a sidewalk, freezing to death on a sidewalk somewhere. That's got to be the worst way to die. I would rather kill myself way before that.
Well, most people would probably want quick and painless before suffering and drawn out, but
yeah, freezing to death alone on a strange sidewalk somewhere.
Or maybe you're hoping they'll put that pillow over your face while you're sleeping.
Yeah. Forget about pillows. Forget about pillows. You don't have a pillow.
It's Matt. It's Matt. So whoever's gonna kill Matt with the pillow is gonna go out of their way to make sure it's a my pillow.
Just to see if he fights back. You're not killing me with a my pillow. Get the fuck away from me.
Yeah,
it's my pillow or nothing.
So welcome to the comedy show, folks. That's how we start off. Suicide on the street, freezing to death, homeless people, everything is just
I have a question for Stephen and Ron.
Okay.
Tex is in the chat room and he says WATP. What is that's I don't know what the fuck with a heart at the end of
these podcasts.
Oh, okay.
The thing you sent me, Blind Mike. By the way, is Blind Mike really blind? He's not really blind, right?
I have no idea.
He's got these dark glasses on, but he can see the screen. So what the heck?
Maybe I don't know.
It's a dumb stage name.
But in that clip that you sent me, he said WATP, at least 15 times referring. That's why I knew it immediately as soon as you said WATP.
So there's somebody from that podcast in the chat.
I guess I didn't know what WATP was, but
that's
it has
lovely.
a heart next to it. But it has a heart next to it.
You
So.
sent me had 19 references to WATP, and this is why I don't understand why you're asking that question now. If you watch the clip that you sent me, there's no way you could have not known that. You didn't even watch it, did you?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I did watch it up until it's like a 20-minute clip, I think, and after that they switched from Tom Talk with Tom. Yeah. So yeah, I did watch it. It's just that it's a different context. That's what I'm saying. These letters, once you take them out of context, it means something totally different to me. I'm open to a different meaning.
Where did you see that? The Govs? Because I'm not seeing that in any way.
I'm on Govs.
You Govs.
Aren't you paying attention for months now? I've been monitoring the Govs.
I knew you monitored Govs. That's why I asked. Where are you seeing that? And I said on Govs because I assumed you were on Govs seeing that. You Govs bastard, you.
Govs.
All right. Fine. I should go monitor that, shouldn't I? Why can't we
you monitor that? Then I'll monitor something different because you're monitoring. I'm trying to have us monitor.
You're right. How about that? You're right.
I don't want to be right. I want to be correct. Don't be agreeing with me just because you don't want to argue.
No, I'm not agreeing with you just because I don't want to argue. I sincerely believe.
Good,
you're right.
be a man and argue.
I'll monitor Instagram. You monitor Govs, and
you guys need to go fuck or something. My God, the sexual tension in here is crazy.
On Instagram, they're saying, "Shut up, Steven. We're gonna get to you, and it's gonna hurt in a minute."
No.
The podcast that Blind Mike was reviewing from that dipshit Carl fucking Taco. That's what I'm going to call him, Taco. Because he's not even
Taco.
And he makes me shit. Blind Mike seemed to be very positive about everybody. About Tom. What's Tom's last name? Tom
Myers.
Myers. About GD. About me. The only person he really had any negative things about were Steven. How can I point?
Oh no.
Yeah. Who is this person who did a gig? I forget what Steven was talking about, a gig where he got $50 for the gig, and the guy that Mike had some criticism at that point. Like, I'm sure this person, whoever he is, talking about Steven, and then he went off on, I'm sure people are lining up to, wait a minute. I don't know, but he seemed to be very positive about Tom. I think but it's hard to tell if he's being sarcastic or not about being good friends with Tom. We're buddies, we're brothers, and all that.
I think what it is, they had issues, and Tom says that they buried the hatchet. All right. Tom says they have buried the hatchet, and it was a misunderstanding about it. It was a scheduling conflict that did not get correctly related to Blind Mike. So it almost makes it look like that Tom was like being standoffish, and Tom wasn't. Tom just, something had happened and it wasn't relayed properly to Mike.
A scheduling conflict. Can I say the word conflict? A scheduling conflict seems like really, and it's just me ready to go to war with everybody saying this. It seems like a really petty thing to just be ready to go to DEFCON 5 or start a war over a scheduling conflict.
Well, Tom portrayed it as a scheduling conflict. Like, he was supposed to be on the show, something happened, and I think Tom did say, I can't make it, but it didn't make it back to Mike. It was to like being relayed.
Junk folder.
Yeah, like a game of telephone.
Yeah.
And the person that related to Mike made it sound like the Tom was like saying, fuck off, I don't want to do your stupid show.
Right.
And so Mike took offense to that. And now that's my understanding. I could be like totally wrong because I only have one side, and then I'm just trying to remember the one side.
Right.
So you're telling me that I have another hater.
Well, we all do.
I
think if we got into the Olympics, the hater Olympics, online hater Olympics, I win. Come on.
And Mike still thinks I hate him. He says, look at GD's face. He's still just, he has no love for me. You can see he has no love for me. I'm like, I have no love and I have no hatred. I don't know him. I never
heard of him before Tom Myers was on the program.
Speak American.
I never saw him.
Speak American.
Well, my concern with him was that they were misrepresenting my material as being younger than it was. They were looking at something from 2016 and thinking it was from 2021, and that my jokes and references were like 5 years old, and saying, well, why would anybody get that? That happened 5 years before. And it's like, no, it happened like within 2 weeks of my show.
All right, Ron's getting bored with you.
Ron stays bored with me.
Well,
if I'm not actively tickling his balls or filleting him, he's bored with me. As a matter of fact, he gets bored with the fellatio. He doesn't.
Well,
like
if it
my
helps,
style.
I don't even know who you guys were talking about. So,
you know what though? Here's this.
Well, you know what?
People.
Who are these podcasts? Oh, you know them. Blind Mike is a guy who has been a guest on that show. Here's the deal. And Tom said this to me, and it must have went right over my bald head. He said they rehearse that. They rehearse and they write down the lines that the negative lines that they're gonna say.
What?
Wow.
And that's just that was what Blind Michael said. Blind Michael saying that he's given a script as what to say, and if he veers from the script, they will ban him from the show and not pay him. So yeah, well, that's what he says, because he says that he mentioned the fact that it was something about what he would do for money, and he's glad that he's away from it, or something like that. But it's something to do with the money, getting the money or something.
Well,
butter me with Crisco.
So who was it that talked shit on me? It was Blind Mike.
Not big time shit, but he did. If he was critical, hold on. Let me just preface it, and I'll send you the clip so you can watch it yourself. Yeah. But if he was critical at all, he was just saying that that people weren't lining up to see. I think that's again. I think Carl Hamburger with his critique of me was absolutely spot on. The only problem I had with him was when he went to show samples of my music, he picked the worst fucking piece that he could possibly pick of me. He was just picking on this line that because you were making it in the. It could be interpreted as you were saying, well, since I'm out there working steady and making all this money and getting all this attention, this one gig where I got stiffed for $50 or I got paid $50, but there was a beef or something. He's picking on this and he's like, oh yeah, I'm sure this guy is in high demand or something like that. That's all he said.
That's totally fine, and I hear you. I hear you, buddy. You know what? If you're available, come out April 18th. I will tell you, there's only standing room left. All tables have been reserved. So but if you want to come see me, no, there's standing room. They have standing room, and there's room at the bar.
People like you can't get in.
Oh no, people like me can't get in. There's only standing room. Exactly. I need sitting room. So come out.
If you brought a chair, you'd be in the standing room sitting.
Okay.
You have your own chair.
Sure. But I'm just saying, come on out, man. Come out. Let me give you 30 minutes or so, and then we'll have some beers, and then knock your fucking teeth in.
You and Blind Mike. All I was just saying is he seemed mostly positive, except for you.
That's fine. You know what?
Long division.
That's fine. It is what it is. You know what? Haters just mean that I got his attention.
Somebody is scripting out a negative, not just like winging it, like let's look at these guys and bash them. It's like let's watch it together, script it out, rehearse. We have that much energy to do a negative podcast like that. That's incredible.
Well, I know a deaf Marty, but that's about it.
Well, I'm crippled Steve, so I just, maybe we can all get together and put something together. Who knows?
My father's boss was One-Armed Joe.
Oh,
they knew a lot. They knew a lot.
Did your mom have a nickname? Did your mom have a nickname too?
Depending on who you talk to.
Okay,
they look like retards.
I had an Uncle Hop. He's dead now, but Uncle Hop was 9 years old. Uncle Hop was 9 years old when he got his leg cut off by a trolley car. And he was Uncle Hop.
Oh. See, I thought it was a beer addiction, not that hop. Okay.
Oh, Hop.
Come on.
No, here's the deal. Guineas, New York Guineas, they like wine, not so much beer, and Scotch whiskey. So
well, see, and if he liked beer, that would be a great nickname. He's like, "What the fuck's wrong with you? We drink wine and whiskey. What's the beer shit, Uncle Hops?"
That's right. Uncle Hops. And his
slappity.
It was actually my Uncle Louie, but I didn't know that. until after he was dead. But he had a son who was Louis Jr., who was his midget my whole life. We just called him Midget.
You just called him Midget? You didn't even give him the full nickname?
He was my cousin Midget.
There was no nickname, no fun name, just Midget?
No, my cousin Midget. That was his nickname.
Now, because I empathize with what you're saying. Like I had lots and lots of cousins who only went by their nicknames. Actually, my own family was like that. My youngest older brother, I didn't know his real name until I was like 5 years old. My sister, I didn't learn her real name until I was like 6 years old, because everybody had nicknames.
My neighbor across the street, it was a really nice black family, but they all went by nicknames too. Did not know any of their. Yeah, they were the nice ones. Yeah, there was Slappity. There was Nene.
What have we done to this chat room?
Dude, I don't know. We have 10 people watching from Facebook and your socials, like just there, and there's nobody in the chats.
I see 86 people watching on Rumble. Now they wouldn't be in our chat room, so. But
it's ever since you brought that the gay porn star on.
Exactly.
You broke the chat.
I guess they're tongue tied.
Got their tongue.
So Saturday night I did this paint party, right?
Yeah.
It was a surprise party, 40th birthday for the wife.
Dude.
The dude is 41. Their house is a $5 million house down, and so I'm thinking, this is nice to be 40 years old and to be able to buy a $5 million house on the beach there, throw a party for your wife. I don't know what the company charges for it, but I guarantee it's more than I would do for a 40th birthday. It's just like very nice. It's a good, and I'm just assuming this guy's going to be snooty. He was the nicest guy in the world, and everybody there, even though they're all like very wealthy, they were very nice people. And I this is the bigotry in me. I assume people who are just mega rich, not mega rich, but rich, would just have an attitude about people like me. Like, you're not one of the good people. You're one of those slug people that we hired to do a party. But they treated me very well. I brought my wife as an assistant. They treated her very well. But one thing that I did learn, either I am good morning, Slaptail. Thanks for saying something. Whatever, it's fine with that. We used to have a full chat room, though, up until the gay porn star came in. And then all of a sudden...
Butter me with Crisco and call me a mule.
Mule.
It sounds like Daffy Duck. That sounds like a Daffy Duck.
It does sound like Daffy Duck. It's really disconcerting. It really feels like he's talking to Bugs Bunny in drag when he says that, and it really makes me uncomfortable.
All right, Slaptail, get your comment out of my face. Well, thank you for saying that. But one thing, either I am the world's greatest painter, or these people were just retarded.
No, Matt, you are fucking talented, dude.
No, I'm not.
I tell you, oh my god, you are though. The dude, I showed my buddy, I showed my brother here while you were painting. I showed him your paintings, and he goes, "Are those real?" I'm like, "Yeah." He paints those in real time, and I showed him the one that you did the time lapse of. And he was like, "What the fuck?" He goes, "Why is he doing YouTube?" Like he's like, yeah, he agreed. Like your shit's talented.
That one back there, that's the one I taught the other night, and it takes me when I'm doing that painting literally 15 to 20 minutes to complete. This party's supposed to be a 2-hour painting thing. At 2 hours, nobody was near completion on this thing. They kept asking for more paint. I'd say load the brush up lightly. Well, you give them a palette of paint, and like 3 minutes into it, they're already out of paint. Like I'm saying, just a little bit of paint on the end of the brush, and now all your
little dab will do ya.
They need a complete refill, like 3 minutes in. and then more paint, and then I'm looking at they got a pile of brown paint because they mixed everything together.
I think they're trying to make a sculpture. They're taking the paint and putting it in layers. They're trying to make a 3D image.
When I first got there, I said to the host, I said, has your wife painted before? Yeah, a little bit, but there was some really good painters here. And I think one of them came out I was really impressed with. But most of them, like, it was like teaching a kindergarten class. Like, oh, it's just gonna be.
I mean, like, some of us in the world just have zero artistic ability. Like, I picked up drawing almost like 7 months ago. I still look like Helen Keller trying to do a connect the dots, man. It's horrible.
Hey, Helen Keller's artwork was really, really good. We just don't see it. But her artwork was really good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, don't be picking on her.
Don't defend her. She can't hear you defending her.
She has good feel.
She has a good feel for painting.
I failed art class. I failed art class. I got an F in art in junior high school. And that sticks with me. I am not.
So did Hitler. It stuck with him too.
No, he didn't. Hitler saw himself as a genuine artist. I don't know.
I know. Just kidding. I had to throw that in there.
It's not a matter of talent. It's just the fact that some of these things are so easy that if somebody's holding your hand and says, "Draw here," I take the brush and do a sideways yellow line across the canvas, about 60% down from the top. Just a yellow line across the size of the brush, one swipe across, and I see people going and doing like this big, like, what? Did you just see one line? Like,
if I would have tried that, it would have ended up in the top left corner.
Right. So
I'm telling you, man,
you have to have patience. You have to be nice. It's a party, no judgment, all this kind of stuff. But I felt like at the end of it, it's like, man, it shouldn't be that hard. It really shouldn't be that hard. Anyway, and I take a big. Now at the end of the thing, you take a big picture with all their paintings, and then you send it into the company. They're going to put it on their website, and I'm like, maybe I should retouch these. Maybe maybe I should Photoshop this in like they really did really great work. Because
you're going to analyze the picture, and they're going to realize it's just like it's going to be like 17 copies of your painting.
Yeah. So I had one guy who was with me he was right up front the whole time, and he was pretty bad. I told him to hold my painting. Yeah, hold this one. Hold mine for the picture. He was all down with that. So he's holding that one. But yeah,
but now they know that he's a fraud.
Yeah.
Nobody
just say he was holding that one, mine.
His people are not listening to this program. I guarantee.
How do we know?
Vincent Van Fraud.
They don't know it exists. I don't think. We're not. We are so far under the radar.
Yeah, but I thought Fister Timmy was listening. So hey, Fister Timmy, thanks for listening. Pick up your lube after the show today.
Oh my God!
Yeah, don't forget about Large Lips Mary. She's listening too. Hey, Large Lips, how you doing today? Make sure you pick up that Coke bottle. Back to you.
What about Pinky Paul? You left out Pinky Paul.
Don't forget about Frizzy Lizzy.
Wow.
No, I just felt left out.
So
I'm like omelets better than sex.
Omelets better than at this point in my life. I mean, omelets always good. Omelets are always good.
I do.
Hey, so the word cum balls popped up in the wild in my life.
Wow.
It was really weird.
What do you mean?
We were walking, well, not walking, but we were strolling through the grocery store, and we were passing by the freezer section. It was cod balls, and my brother looked at it and he stopped and he goes, "Did that just say cum balls?" And I was like, "What?"
No,
we both turned around and looked, and it was cod balls.
Well, I've come a lot in my life. I've never actually seen it ball up like a spherical ball. Have you ever had an actual cum ball?
Okay, so this might be TMI, but
it's like a fur ball for a cat. Only it's in a person.
No.
That's.
Have you ever shot one off in the shower?
You mean when it gets wet and sticky?
I wouldn't.
Well, no, like like you're in the shower and you're like, I might as well just knock this out while I'm in here, right?
No,
and it gets like in your leg hair.
No
It
wonder
kind
you
of turns
can't
into a
walk.
ball.
It's punishment from God. No wonder you can't walk. This is punishment from God.
Listen. I'm just saying that
You want to be punished by God.
I've been punished by God since I was born. That's regardless of the situation.
Wow.
No, anybody could have had a face like yours. You can't call that a punishment from God.
It's true.
Yeah.
I could look. You know what? My face could be on an urn. So I mean,
that's true. That's true.
You have to earn it.
And you could have had to pay to get it like that.
I could pay for an urn with my face on it.
Can we switch gears here a little bit here? Can we?
Dude.
Did any of you guys watch? I'm not going to say the Oscars yet. Did any of you guys watch Saturday Night Live this week with Shane Gillis?
I recorded it. I didn't see it yet.
Yesterday on Twitter, there was a lot of reaction to Shane's monologue. It was the best monologue ever or the worst monologue ever. I watched it and it was meh.
I thought it was pretty meh as well, and I'm a Shane Gillis fan. I thought it was meh. I will say though that watching Shane Gillis on Saturday Night Live, the amount of racist bits they did, like the amount of bits they did that focused around racism, it was the whole episode.
Wow.
It was hilarious.
I didn't watch. I just saw the clip of the monologue.
All of them except for Dad's House, where he was like a really sad divorced dad. But outside of that, all of it was just like race jokes. Like the whole thing. It was still funny, but it was just like the whole time I'm just like, they typecasted him as a racist white dude.
Is it typecasting though?
Well,
I don't know. I honestly I wouldn't know Shane Gillis from Shane in the Western.
Shane Gillis.
We know you don't have any reference really for pop culture. You don't have to.
So Shane Gillis, if you had to compare his personality type, he's very much like Midwest dad.
He is
right?
The comedy what cracked the sky is.
No, Shane is not Midwest dad. Shane is just a guy from South Central Pennsylvania, and that's pretty much what they are. They wear jorts. They look like that. A lot of them are vaguely racist.
He's not short.
No, where's
not short? He's like
where's
like
I didn't say short.
I thought you said short.
He said jorts.
Yeah. He to me he's just another South Central Pennsylvania.
Well, I didn't know you had those in Pennsylvania. I thought Pennsylvania was like Pittsburgh and hill people.
No,
it's a good mix. Then you mix in the racism. I mean, even the city of York has had race riots. The city of Hanover has had race riots. We got a pretty ugly past in this area.
Now,
when it comes
I'm going to expose a tinge of ignorance. I don't know what jorts are. Are they like the male version of culottes for women?
No, jorts. It's like you take a pair of jeans, you cut off at the knee, and you wear them as shorts.
They call that jorts. We called them cut off jeans when I was growing up because that's what we did. We took jeans and cut them off.
Yeah, but you were born in 1938.
And I had hot
9.
I cut them off right at the ball level, like you could see the ball hair sticking out. It was,
and I definitely agree with you on the monologue. On his monologue, I thought, I thought that was very mid. I think what didn't help him is that he come out trying to do like a Trump bit, like, oh, isn't Trump a weird and zany, funny guy? And no one wants to hear that shit anymore. Those jokes have been played out. It's no more like, oh, Trump is this funny, like old man now. It's serious now.
Let me just say that a lot of the reaction were, oh, people who don't like it are just because of the politics. They got butthurt. It wasn't the politics. It just wasn't well crafted comedy.
It wasn't well crafted jokes, political jokes.
Yeah, he could make fun of Biden, Trump, anybody, but if it's funny, it's funny. It wasn't well crafted. The jokes were not. And somebody who's not a comedian, did an excellent pick apart of it and saying this is where this joke failed. He bailed on the setup. He didn't, or sometimes he spent too much time on the setup. Sometimes he didn't spend any time on the setup, and just like he had tested it in front of Joe Rogan and his buddies, and if they giggled a little bit, that was good enough for the opening monologue on Saturday Night Live.
I mean, that monologue may have gone down better on something like Kill Tony for sure. But yeah, on Saturday Night Live, it didn't hit.
Yeah.
Like I said, in my opinion, what did it for me is just because of the way his Trump jokes were. It just felt like the beginning, it felt dated. It's like, is this material from 3 to 4 years ago?
Right.
That's what it felt like to me.
It did. Like he was just digging up some old shit to try.
On the racist stuff for the rest of the show, got to in context. The reason he was canceled before he even started on Saturday Night Live was because he did the Korean fireman bit, which was deemed racist, and he was labeled a racist from that. Now, that was right before I did the first episode of this, and I had a comedian on who was talking about that, and I wasn't familiar with it. He kept calling him Shane McGillis. And I was like, is it Gillis or McGillis? Because I keep hearing both those names. And then I went back and I saw the Korean fireman bit, and I didn't think it was racist. I just thought it was just not funny. Again, and I'm a fan of Shane. I've seen some stuff he's done that has made me laugh. I saw his special. I thought it was really good. But that Korean fireman bit wasn't racist. It just was, again, another example of not well-crafted comedy. But people just say, oh, he's a racist. And so I think the reason that you saw that while he's hosting the show is they wrote a lot of racist bits because that was the label that was put on him, that he's a racist. I don't know if he genuinely is. I don't know the man. I just think he's not
funny.
He is funny, but he wasn't on that. And there are times when he does stuff that it's like open mic night for Shane on a major stage. Like if you're gonna do Saturday Night Live, you bring your A game. You don't come with stuff you just tried in front of your buddies. That's
well, they definitely made use of his, like, South Central PA like dad energy type. So that's kind of like what that's kind of like what the whole episode was, because that's kind of like his wheelhouse, because he has that contract with Bud Light, and that's what the commercials are. Whoever's managing him definitely has him as like, you play this guy until the end, because right now it's giving you money. So embrace it and do what you want with it.
Yeah. Well, so for all the people who are just saying it's over politics, it ain't over politics. The criticism, whether good or bad, is not about politics. It's about for the people who say it was the best ever, Opie said it was the best ever, and I don't want to argue with Opie, but no. It wasn't. Even if you thought it was good, it was far from the best ever. I mean,
and I think it didn't help either that he was the first episode after the 50th celebration.
Yeah,
because that's a tough hole for anyone to be in.
Yeah. All right. Let's switch gears, because this was not. This only happened over the weekend, right after we were last on the program. The Zelensky thing and Trump and all that kind of stuff. Oh my God, it's just like people are acting like Trump lost his cool and Vance lost his mind during that thing, and they just lost their tempers. That's not my take on it. My take is the thing was planned. They had the cameras there. This was a media setup. They planned on abusing him and trying to make him look stupid. It backfired in my view to a large extent. But the idea that they just let this get away from them and weren't in control of themselves, I think it's as scripted as anything Trump has ever done. Even like when he comes out waving to nobody who's there with cameras, making it look like he's waving to a crowd that doesn't exist. That's what that was. This is him putting on a show, directing how it's going to go.
Yes. Just putting on what he thought would be good television for Putin. Good. He thought it would be good good reality TV.
Well, it seemed like they just wanted to bully him, belittle him, and almost like push him into a corner where then they can just get him to sign whatever they wanted to and have something good to report back. And it was just, it seemed very much like a middle school bully session. Like, hey, you want to come hang out with us? Come hang out with us. And then he shows up, and then they just shit on him. Where's your suit? Why do you look like shit? Why do you look so tired? Why blah, blah, blah. Like, fuck off, dude. His country's being invaded. He's in the middle of a war. He's over here trying to make a deal, trying to get his country back in shape, and he's just getting shit on by the Cheeto in charge. It's fucking disgraceful. Like, being president used to be an honorable thing, and it's just like now he just makes it look like a fucking clown show.
I did enjoy how Zelensky told when they were asking him about his suit. I love how Zelensky just zinged that guy. He's like, "Oh, maybe one day I can wear a clown suit like you." I mean, it was.
It was great.
It's like
I think people forget that he's a comedian and an actor. Like I'm sure he's got some witty comebacks. He's just trying to be professional. Assholes.
Yeah. And part of the thing that convinced me that it was staged. Now, they didn't take a whole lot to convince me that the whole thing was staged for the camera. It was a proper event, a propaganda event that was going according to script. But the guy's saying, "Do you even own a suit?" That is the most insulting thing you could say to somebody who's a president of a country. Do you even own a suit? Like, that is, you're being condescending and a put down. That was a staged line. But
I didn't even think it was a bully session. To me, it looked like two guys who were completely out of their element, trying to pretend they were smart. And when when Vance started talking, and Trump looked like X was standing next to him because the 4-year-old came in and said, "All right, old man, don't say anything. You're not the president." So to me, it just seemed like that. And especially when Vance was talking and Trump just looked like he shit himself.
Yeah, dude, I just thought it was funny that Vance picked a couch to sit on. Like, y'all remember this? Huh?
And Rubio
sometimes you pick the couch, sometimes the couch picks you. It's like Hogwarts.
Rubio was sitting right in fucking Vance's cumwad. That's why he was.
Yeah. It's like, why is this seat wet?
Yeah. That's what he looked like.
What are these cum balls in the corner?
And there you go. How many cum ball references
maybe it was
that's two.
Because Trump is an old man, so maybe there's wet spots throughout the furniture in the Oval Office. And the review got stuck with the wet spots.
You mean the oral office? Don't leave me hanging. We all know Musk. We all know Musk is getting Trump Dome in there.
All right, we got 3 minutes before news. I want to talk about this, and we could probably talk about it at any time. But Bill Murray went on Joe Rogan. Now, Bill Murray doesn't do interviews, and certainly never 2.5-hour interviews, no holds barred thing. But I'm very disappointed in Bill Murray. He came out and said that. Now, previously, he had talked about Bob Woodward's book, Wired, about John Belushi, and his criticism in the past was it's factual, but it's sensationalized. And I think that's fair. I mean, if you're going to write a book and try to have it in pop culture and make a movie about it, you want to make it interesting and over the top, like entertaining, rather than just a documentary book. Like, here it is.
Yeah, he had 14 grams more than he should have had.
But at that time, all along, Murray was not disputing the facts of the book. But then he comes out on Rogan and immediately says, I read his book 5 pages in. I'm thinking, if he could do this to John Belushi, then they set up Nixon. And I was like, that is such a fucking broken logic and such a leap and such a real disappointment to go on Rogan, the Idiocracy show, and spread a unfounded, ridiculous accusation that Bob Woodward somehow was working with the CIA to set up Nixon. I was like, Nixon admitted to the crimes he did. And people were like, well, he never did it. What are you talking about? He did admit to the cover-up. The missing minutes on the tape, 18 minutes of missing of blanked out tape, was an admission that he was destroying evidence, concealing evidence. And so, but he said, if a president does it, it's not illegal. So right. we know Nixon was not set up. The cover-up is why he was forced to resign, not the break-in. we don't think Nixon planned the break-in. Most people don't think Nixon actually was active in planning the break-in, but he was active in planning, covering it up, hiding it, concealing it, obstructing justice every way, the investigation in every way he could. Obviously, he was guilty of that. There's no argument there. There is no argument that he didn't do that. So to say that the CIA set him up for that, they didn't make him cover it up. He could have just let Haldeman and Ehrlichman and Gordon Liddy, all those people just go fucking face the fire on their own. But he covered it up. That's why
and Liddy willingly did. Liddy willingly did that. Liddy says, "I'll do it. I'll do the time. I'm not turning."
Right. So at this point, and then I got into a Twitter war with these people who were trying to rewrite history that Nixon was somehow completely innocent, set up by Woodward, who was a CIA operative. Like, fuck you, Murray. You started this. He didn't start it. Tucker Carlson started it years ago, but they've run with it. And now you have somebody like Bill Murray, who was seen, even though he's a comedian, seen as a reasonable guy, and going on Rogan and to help spread that shit. Fuck Bill Murray. I've been a fan for 50 years now. I hate him. I hate him for fucking.
I was a fan for 2 movies. I think Caddyshack and no, that's it. I think.
Not Groundhog Day.
So Bill Murray's.
Oh yeah, Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day, then Caddyshack. I did. Yeah, that's
the only movie in my life that I can remember besides Ghostbusters was Osmosis Jones. Terrible movie.
He did 2 movies that weren't comedies. One I can't remember the name of, but it was like a Buddhist quest type of thing.
Was it Lost in Translation?
No, that was the other one I was going to mention. That one was.
I never saw that one. That's why I guessed it.
I didn't see it either. Sofia Coppola directed that. I didn't see.
Yeah,
that
that's
one.
got Scarlett Johansson in it.
Yeah.
Arjo.
I just got an erection. Did you see that? His mic.
Yeah, he did.
Her ass is featured prominently in the opening of that movie too.
Scarlett Johansson. You can see it happen without the hand moving the mic. Yeah. So, but the other one, I forget. It was like he was on like some Buddhist quest, some spiritual quest. You know what? It was fun. And the movies isn't what made me a fan of Bill Murray. His original stuff on Saturday Night Live, I thought was great. And I've always been a fan of just his goofiness. But now, fuck him. And it's not about the politics of it. It's the fact that he's feeding into this whole idiocracy and going on Rogan and helping Rogan make people stupid. You lose any kind of goodwill that I ever had for the man.
Question is he actually helping people who listen to Rogan be stupid, or stupid people just listening to him and they're giving them more to be stupid about?
Probably both.
I wouldn't, if I were him. Listen, again, he doesn't do a lot of interviews and never does 2.5 hours with somebody. He doesn't need Joe Rogan to like boost him up in any way. His only purpose of going on Rogan, the only reason anybody goes on Rogan is they're in that mindset of everything's a conspiracy, the deep state. Here's my thing on the deep state. If the deep state truly existed, Trump would have been assassinated by now. There's no fucking doubt about it. He's been calling the deep state out. They're the enemy. The CIA is the enemy. The intelligence community is the enemy. If they existed at all in the evil state that he claims, he would be the first target. He would have been taken out quicker than JFK. I mean,
did you forget about Butler and
no, I didn't.
and the Florida one where the guy was near the golf course?
Yeah.
We got to play news.
Yeah, if that was the case, then the deep state is fucking lamer than the gang who couldn't shoot straight. So yeah,
they're the ganglia that can't shoot.
Well, the deep state funding been cut.
Guyana's President Irfan Ali condemned a Venezuelan naval incursion into disputed waters containing an ExxonMobil-operated oil field, Benjamin Wright reports.
Ali announced that Guyana has alerted international allies and lodged a formal protest with Venezuela's ambassador. The incident underscores escalating tensions over the resource-rich area, with the U.S. administration warning of potential consequences for Venezuela.
In northern India, an avalanche struck a highway construction site near Mana Pass, resulting in the deaths of at least 4 workers.
Rescue teams have retrieved 50 workers, with efforts ongoing to locate 5 others still missing. The construction crew, primarily migrant laborers, face challenging conditions due to heavy snowfall and poor visibility. The Himalayan region's susceptibility to such natural disasters has been exacerbated by global warming. Chris Anderson reporting.
Negotiations between Israel and Hamas in Cairo have stalled, with no progress on extending the current ceasefire. Joseph Eckerson with the latest.
The initial phase, which paused 15 months of conflict, is set to expire today. This phase facilitated the release of 33 hostages and nearly 2,000 Palestinian prisoners, along with increased aid to Gaza. Hamas officials expressed disappointment over the lack of advancement.
This is the latest news headlines.
Music sucks.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with President Trump at the White House to discuss securing peace in Ukraine with involvement from Kiev and European leaders.
President Donald Trump has called for an immediate ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine, cautioning Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky about the potential loss of U.S. support. Trump also announced plans to impose tariffs on Canada, Mexico, and China. Additionally, his administration is implementing significant federal agency cuts, prompting legal challenges and concerns about military politicization. Lawrence Keller reporting.
A Minneapolis man, Abdisatar Ahmed Hassan, has been charged with attempting to join the Islamic State group. Hassan, a naturalized U.S. citizen, allegedly made 2 unsuccessful attempts to travel to Somalia in December.
FBI investigations revealed his public support for the group through social media and a posted video. His case aligns with a pattern of Minnesotans attempting to join extremist groups in recent years. Kevin Sanders reporting.
In Maryland, a trench collapse during home renovations in Catonsville led to the deaths of 2 construction workers.
The incident occurred following the failure of a retaining wall, trapping the workers. Baltimore County Fire Department's rescue efforts involved stabilizing the trench and removing debris, with an investigation into the collapse underway. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Okay, that story in Maryland, the one that took place in Maryland.
Well, let me bomb that fucker. Okay.
The one that took place in Maryland. This is my second time hearing it. I heard it the first top of the hour at 9:00, and I'm hearing again. Now I just realized what area he's talking about. He said Catonsville. It's Catonsville. And I'm like, I didn't know where the fuck he was talking about. It's like, no, it's Catonsville. These AI people have really got.
You heard cotton, and you just thought, well, I gotta get out to
the field. Yeah, I thought, man, as soon as he said Catonsville, I thought those people.
I've never heard it pronounced that way ever.
Yeah, it's Catonsville.
Yeah, it's Catonsville.
Well, they have lots of Haitians.
Finishing inside me.
Whoa, well, hey, real quick, since we were talking about conspiracy theories before the news break, I wanted to plug Beyond Classified tonight.
Beyond Classified. MUFON.
Beyond Classified. We have MUFON investigator Robert Spearing coming on tonight, and it's gonna be a good time, man. Brought to you by Curiosity Box.
You can almost smell the MUFON from here, right?
Smell it. Well, that might be must.
Come from a lab? Does it come from a MUFON lab?
Yeah, it did.
It almost sounds like an Italian nickname. It sounds like an Italian nickname, one of those little mob names that, hey, MUFON, come on, MUFON.
That's why I was surprised when he said his cousin's name was Midget. I'm like, really? You guys have names for everybody, Tiny, Smalls, but all these other nicknames, and then
I didn't give him that. He's older than me. So he had that Curiosity Box is what I call my wife's box.
Hey, shout out to Dirty Finger Dan. Yeah, keep on digging, buddy.
Yeah. MUFON.
Ron's looking at a different chat room.
I know. I'm like, what the fuck?
From the wet lab in MUFON. Hello.
Is that where COVID came from? No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's it'll be a good conversation though. He's coming on to talk about the MUFON Symposium, which is their national convention, where they get all the investigators come together. They have special speakers, all that good stuff.
Here's a special gift for you that GD was gifted yesterday by our friends at StreamYard. I should make them an affiliate so we can get some money from them. They are now automatically doing reels for shows, not for this one because it's too fucking long. if the show is under 2 hours, they will automatically cut up 1-minute reels for you for YouTube, and they're doing a better job than some of our
Hell yeah.
who do it. They're very good. They're picking right clips, and they're not like fucking. Well, it's easier when there's one person talking, right?
I think so. Easier with one person, and it's also when it's only 1 hour or so. It's
right.
It's
well. Either way, tonight's going to be an amazing conversation. Don't miss it. We'll be talking all things UFOs, UAPs, USOs, government cover-ups.
And get in the chat room, but don't give them goofy questions about ghosts and goblins and aliens. Well, aliens you could talk about.
Aliens, yes. Anything alien, UFO, outer space related, bring it to the table. Be a good time.
Bed Bath & Beyond Classified tonight at 9.
Yeah.
9 p.m. Eastern, right here on Mind Dog TV.
Eastern.
And a lot of that comes.
A lot of that is come.
Sheila Easton, 9 p.m. Sheila Easton time.
Sheila Easton time.
Well, we're going to be on politics when our Thomas with the M name that I can't pronounce gets here anyway, because he's going to want to talk about climate change and how it affects. Of course, it's going to let the fossil fuel assholes die, right? I mean, that business. Now, it would definitely make a major ripple in the economy. I just want to, before we bring him in, just touch on this, and maybe we could talk about this later. President Donald Trump has announced that a significant event or announcement will occur on the evening of March 4th. The statement has generated widespread anticipation on social media platforms. What will he be talking about? Trump's history suggests it could pertain to a major policy announcement or shifts. It's like
he's just trying to change. He's just trying to change the
State of the Union is tomorrow, so that's why.
Yeah, State of the Union address, and he's just trying to change the conversation, because right now the conversation is he shit himself on the world stage. They tried to set up Zelensky to try to make him and back him into a corner like a Jiffy Lube salesperson. Bring it.
All right, I'm gonna fuck up his name, and I apologize in advance.
Well, gotcha. Just do the first name, and I'll do the second name like you
do spring or summer.
Yeah, exactly.
You guys don't get the reference there. There's a commercial.
No, but it was funny.
Rev runs on Church, where he kind of just took out winter or fall that I had said and just overdubs his voice, saying spring or summer, and it goes right back.
Yeah, because it's a woman reading it, and I just insert my manly voice over hers.
Thomas Majewski, right? Majewski, has a lifelong interest in science and technology. His interest in space and astronomy started with his first visit to the Hayden Planetarium at age 10. Throughout his working career, he has been an early adopter of new technology. He's got a book out called "Solving Global Warming Will Kill the Fossil Fuel Industry," and he's all blacked out there and no camera back there.
And Matt, you and I actually had the same first question, so you say it, and I.
Thomas, are you with us? And you have no camera on? Can you hear us? Are you there?
I can hear you, and I see my face on the over in the left-hand corner here.
Wow, we don't see it, but that's fine. We could just we can go. We'll start with if you could figure out the camera stuff, that would be good. But it's not absolutely necessary. We can have the conversation. Good morning, and thank you for being here.
All right, thanks for having me.
So the book, I want to bring up the book. If you give me just 1 second, the book is called "Solving Global Warming Will Kill the Fossil Fuel Industry." Not solving the global warming problem. Who will that kill?
It'll kill us.
Yeah, it'll kill humanity. Yes,
that's right. You're right.
So the question is, you boil it down to a very simple question, and who would we rather kill, the fossil fuel industry or all of humanity? Right?
Right. Well, and the way I came up with the title is that we're basically the issue we've got is a transition from fossil fuels to renewable energy. And unfortunately for the fossil fuel industry, which did a great thing for us as over the last 150 years or so to give us the lifestyle we've got today, it's got to go. And so the purpose of the book is to say, all right, they're going, and also I describe in the book that the renewable energy is now competitive or at less cost, contrary to what most people think, than the cost of energy from fossil fuels.
Right.
And so that's it.
Well, it seems to me like you want to have a real conversation about the real issue, which is not does climate change, global warming, whatever you want to label it as, not does it exist, but can we do anything to stop it? Do we have the power to slow it down or change course on this? Where most of the debate still is it a hoax? Is it, and a lot of people on the far right or even on the right at all still maintain that it's just not a real phenomenon. It's all made up. It's a just people who hate capitalism. So am I correct in that the only real conversation is not whether it's happening, but can we do anything to stop it?
Yeah, I think that, and I would recast it just a little bit in the sense that, and I start out the book saying this is that I'm not going to argue with you whether global warming is happening or what's causing it. I've gone as a foregone conclusion that it's happening and we've got to do something to fix it. And
well, let me just
so
stop
what
you
I'm trying to do in the book is to give you the benefit of my experience with some other major transitions, like when microcomputers came in, cell phones. I actually was working at Smith Corona when the typewriter got put out of business in a fairly short period of time by inkjet printers and stuff like that. So I'm to the point where we're not going to argue about whether or not that it's happening and that we have to solve it. I'm telling you that we are going to solve it. So I'm very optimistic that way.
Whoa.
And I'm going to tell you how it happens.
Okay, so you're saying we are going to solve it, which is the first time I've ever heard that level of optimism. But you earlier in that answer, you said, "I'm not concerned." I don't know if you said, "I'm not concerned with." I'm not going to talk about what's causing it. How do we solve it without paying attention to cause? Because to me, a problem you cannot, and maybe I'm being just closed-minded here. You can't solve a problem without addressing the cause. Do you think we can solve it without addressing the cause?
Yeah, and I guess the point is what I try and develop in the book is that we've got fossil fuels. It worked for us for a long time. It doesn't work anymore, and we've made such progress in renewable energy that we can just transition over to renewable energy, and that's going to solve the problem. Unfortunately, and which is one of the ways how I got started with the book was everybody's, after the fossil fuel industry. The fossil fuel industry is a $7 trillion business. It's if you made it into a country, it would be the third largest country in the world. And so we have to address the issue that we are definitely going to solve the problem, global warming, but we do have another problem, which is, what do we do? The fact that the fossil fuel industry is going to have to, go through its demise.
Yeah,
And,
if you kill a $7 trillion industry, you're going to put at least 4 people out of business, four people out of a job, right? At least 4.
Yeah, well, that's true too, and that's another point in the book is that that all right. I don't know how many people are employed in the industry. There's quite a bit, and they're all going to lose their job, and because of the nature of transitioning from one type technology to another, it's not going to be an easy transition. A good example was, again, going back to the Smith Corona example. We made an electromechanical device. We had a machinery that made an electromechanical device. When laser printer came out, those people really they couldn't transition over to the new industry, and so there was a lot of stranded assets, and people had to find employment elsewhere, and that's going to be the case with the fossil fuel industry. They have a huge amount of money invested in exploration, refineries, things like that, and that's all going to be stranded assets pretty quickly.
Now, but we face that with like the coal industry. There are people who, matter of fact, the coal industry is still trying to. There are people who still want to work in coal. Not because they can't transition, I guess, but because I guess that's all they know.
They love the black lung. I love that black lung. I don't want to give up my black lung. But if you kill the coal industry, what would I get for Christmas?
Okay.
I got nothing.
That's exactly what I would get for Christmas.
But to that point, we did kill. Well, first of all, some of the coal is being exported out to other countries who are still, burning, like China, for example, burning coal to generate electricity. But what the transition in the coal industry was too is that we went from coal to natural gas, or the plants that generate electricity today, the utilities. Okay, they used to burn coal and now they burn natural gas. So that was a fit. It wasn't without problems, but it was an easy. Well, I wouldn't say it's an easy transition, but example, in the coal industry, there were about 200,000 people employed in the coal industry X number of years ago, and we're down to 25,000. So
a lot of that was because they were replaced with machines.
Right, that's right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, and also, rather than going into mines, they got open pit mining and things like that. And I'm actually not an expert on the coal industry, but I'm familiar with some of the issues involved. So
yeah,
I'm not an expert either. I just like talking about miners.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I agree with you. Yeah.
Come on.
Addressing your optimism, just if I may, for a minute, because I think in order to solve any problem, and I know you said I don't want to address the debate about whether it's really happening. You were just assuming that, or we're taking the position that it is a real phenomenon, but we can't. Again, maybe this is a limiting belief. It's hard to solve a problem if we can't agree the problem exists. And I think more, and this is just a guess, I don't have numbers to back this up, more than half the population is on the side of it doesn't exist. So how can we solve it if we can't get enough people, especially the people who are getting rich off of the current technologies? How can we get them on board with solving the problem if we can't even get them to agree that the problem exists?
All right. Well, number one is, as historically, if you go back 15 years ago, the cost of producing electricity using solar energy, solar panels, was 44 times the cost of what it costs to produce electricity with fossil fuels. Today, solar panels can produce electricity for 56% less than the cost of fossil fuels. So what we do is we educate the public and let them know that it's not more expensive now to use fossil fuels than it's not more expensive to use renewable energy versus fossil fuels.
But we also have to get rid of the red tape, though.
Excuse me?
We have to get rid of the bureaucracy, the red tape, because even though solar is more efficient, the red tapes around getting solar is just mind-boggling.
Well, what I found in most of, a lot of the industries that started, like microcomputers, cell phones, and stuff like that, people said they had no idea that it was going to expand the way it did. And what my position is that if you look at these as an example of what's going on in the energy business, the price is always the thing. We have certain people who, okay, I'll make a sacrifice and I'll pay more money for an electric vehicle than if I have a gas powered vehicle. You don't have to do that anymore. Most people don't know that it costs $1,500 a year less to operate an electric vehicle than it does to operate a gas powered vehicle. So once people understand that, you don't have to make any sacrifice, and in fact, it's the opposite. You can save yourself some money by using the renewable energy rather than fossil fuel energy.
Right. I'm going to ask a question that illustrates how stupid and naive I am. In 2007, I was a project manager for a company that did visualizations for customizations of cars. And they gave a challenge to my staff and my team to come up with some original designs for cars that could be modified. And my little team that I was running, I said we should do a green vehicle. We'll call it the Al Gore pickup truck. And it was literally a green pickup truck. But it was it had solar panels on the pickup truck itself, so it didn't have to rely on charging stations, and you could put like wind on the back of the truck, little wind generators on the back of the truck, so as you're driving it turns the turnstiles and kind of powers the truck. Solar panels on the top. Is that not possible to build a vehicle that is completely green in that it doesn't have to stop and go to a charging station? I know you're not in the design but am I an idiot for even suggesting that? This was 2007, by the way, that I was doing this. It was a kind of a tongue-in-cheek joke, but is that a feasible solution to a car that generates its own electricity through green power or solar power, wind power?
No, I don't think that's the case. No, I think that the way Tesla is doing it, which is they've developed an efficient battery that can be recharged at a recharging station, is the way we're going to go, and that's going to be the technology of the future. What you're addressing, at least I think, is that let's kind of switch away from energy for a minute. High definition TV was an achievable technology for many years, but it took, I don't know, 5-10 years before it actually became a reality, because nobody had high definition. It was a chicken or the egg argument. Nobody could buy a high definition TV or wanted to, because there was no show,
no content for it, right?
Yeah. So what the issue is with EVs is that we have to get the infrastructure out there of the charging stations, and we're making serious efforts in that area. I'll give you an example of which really surprised me the other day. I was at a restaurant along Route 78 in New Jersey, here where I live, and they've got charging stations at the restaurant. So wow. And the restaurant didn't put those in there just because they want to save the world. They put them in there because they're going to make money at it. So
how do they make money? So you basically put your card in that like you would like an
that's right, and you get electric rather than gas. Yeah,
I should probably invest in that industry now, right?
Yeah. Well, one of the things I do in the book is I do discuss the I was familiar with the retail side, gasoline. I address the issue of how we are going to transition from buying gas at a super pumper and either charging your car there or actually charging it at home. So I mean, that's an alternative that people can use. It's an issue, in terms of range, if you want to drive cross country, to have charging stations. But if you're going to use it to go to the supermarket, well, you just charge at your own home.
I'm, we try to kind of not drag the because we talk politics a lot on this program, but we try not to drag the guests into a political discussion. But this topic is political in nature. Part of the thing is with the Republican Party right now, I think they have no principles. They will, if Trump says something, it becomes like gospel to them, and then he will change his mind, and then they have to do a complete 180 and to kind of whatever Trump says today is reality. So the part of, I think part of dealing with the resistance to solving this problem is to convince Trump that the industry, there's more money to be made in green energy than there is in fossil fuel energy. It will be, if you can convince him that there's more money and he can make more money out of it, he will then endorse it, like he changed gears on crypto overnight when he saw that there was potential for him to get rich. To convince him that there's big money in it, the Republican Party will go along. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, well, this is my take on the current administration and the energy transition issue is that you got the fossil fuel industry, which has huge resources, spends huge amounts of money lobbying and things like that. And they're doing that as self-preservation. I don't blame them for doing it. And so, but on the other hand, I've been fairly optimistic that in spite of what Trump, like he said, he's not going to, there's not going to be any more offshore wind. Well, I don't think he's going to stop one offshore wind project that's already underway. He might be able to stop the permitting, but it's not going to stop anything that's underway. And those projects are going to come in and start generating electricity, and it's going to be low. But for example, certain things are underway right now that people might not be aware of. Over 90% of all the new capacity that we're adding to electric generation is from renewable energy. We've already stopped building new fossil fuel plants. So there's a lot going underway, and if you understand all the issues, it's going to happen. So,
well, I wish I could embrace your optimism for myself there. Just for now, we're basically, when you talk about green energy, you're talking about solar, talking about wind, and water. And Rappler brings up coal is way easier than sustaining a fusion reactor. Do you think we're close to fusion reactors?
As you might know, they've been working on it for 60 years now, and I have an interest in science in general, and they made some significant breakthroughs in the last year or so, and on the fusion, they finally gotten to a point where there's net positive. In other words, they get more energy out than they put in, which was one of the main engineering issues that they had to solve. And then it was announced about, I guess it's a month ago now, they actually announced the first commercial fusion reactor that's going to be built in Virginia. And they've given themselves 10 years to do it, but it's the first time anybody has come on and said, hey, we're going to do this. And I mean, we said we're going to go to the moon in 10 years, and we did it. So
yeah, we can bring up lots of that kind of stuff, like the ozone layer was unsolvable, and
well, we solved that problem.
Right. In the last week, France actually was able to maintain fusion for 22 minutes.
Wow!
22 minutes. If you give us 22 minutes, we'll give you all the news. Oh, that's WINSAM.
But yeah, that was a breakthrough that happened in the last 5 days.
Okay, brings, you said 10 years, and this brings up the game clock, because does your optimism take into account that this is not an issue that we have unlimited time to solve, that it needs to be solved rather quickly before things get out of control? Yes or no?
Yes. In fact, that's the one area where I'm not optimistic. The next 5 years are the most crucial years in terms of transitioning out of fossil fuels. And the Biden administration was taking a fairly positive attitude towards doing what we can do. And as you know, the Trump administration is doing everything they can do to frustrate it. And unfortunately, because of his misguided approach to this, he is squandering one of the 5-year period that's going to be the most important to this whole thing.
Yeah.
So, but on the other hand, every year we sell more cars, more EVs, and a lot of this, there's a lot of momentum already in place. So hopefully we'll kind of like push our way through this next few years, and the market will continue to prevail.
I think I've infected you a little bit, because you were very positive, affirmative that it's going to happen, and now you just used the word hopefully. So I think that's my pessimism that you just caught a little bit of it.
I guess so. I didn't notice that I did that.
I don't mean to infect you with my pessimism. I'd rather you infect me with your optimism, if I'm being completely honest. I would love to become an optimist. I just don't see it, because I don't trust the people who are making the largest amount of that $7 trillion you talked about. Those people are going to fight this with tooth and nail. And that comes to the question about why because you titled the book, it will kill the fossil fuel industry. It sounds like, if I just read that title and I did not know anything about this discussion, it would sound like you're making an argument to save the fossil fuel industry, not to fight global. So
I know.
What? You are?
No, he said I know.
I realized when I titled the book, the purpose was attention getting. So
provocative. I get it. Okay.
Kill the fossil fuel industry. People are going to get that attention. And one of the side,
you're a smarter marketer than I am.
Arguments against it was, okay, I'm trying to take sides on it. But in the second page of the book, I say, hey, I'm not taking sides on this. If you interpreted that, and on that same page, I say, if you don't believe in global warming, just stop reading my book. So
wow.
Now you said the second page. Why not have that on the first page? I'm just curious, because I have a cookbook. It's a pot cookbook, and it tells you. And on page 28, it has all of the cautions and warnings about cooking with pot. Not on page 1 or 2 or 3 or 4, but on page 28 is where they have the warnings. Why not have your comment on page 1 instead of page 2?
Well, in the first page of the book, I tell you, the title is Storm Warning. I'm telling you why you want to read my book. So I have to get that out of the way first. I've got to get enough of attention to why you want to read my book. So
okay.
GD, your book is about cooking with pot. What if I only have pans?
I have a different book. I also have a wok book. And
you don't want to give Blind Mike more reasons to just bash your comedy. Don't go for the low-hanging fruit. That's my job.
Okay.
Now, you're a better marketer than me, because I see the point of making it provocative. This will get more people to pick up the book, especially people who need to hear the message. The people who are on the side of the fossil fuel people, they'll pick up this book thinking, this guy's on our side. But you say, I'm not picking sides. I think there really are two sides here. One is the side of money, and the other side is the side of humanity. Which you care more about, a planet that we can live on, or just getting rich and not having a planet to live on? I think it is important to pick sides and be on the side of, I'd rather survive. I'd rather have a planet that's here and no banks.
And it's also not everybody's getting rich. It's only a handful that are getting rich. It's not like we're all getting rich, and so we all have to make a decision about wealth and health. It's like, no, 5 or 6 people are getting really rich, and the rest, and they're stealing our health for the sake of their wealth.
Yeah.
So that's the point I raised in the book.
Yeah. So
in fact, if you go economy to economy, Saudi Arabia is going to really take it on the nose. 60% of their revenue is going to disappear when we get off of fossil fuels. So
that's more incentive to me. I would love to see that. You know what? I'm not a big fan of Saudi Arabia. I don't know how anybody could be a fan of Saudi Arabia at this point. If you follow any of what's been happening in the world over the last since OPEC and the oil shortage and all that stuff, how anybody could still think that Saudi Arabia is an ally and a friend to the world or the United States or any of this stuff. So I would love to see them take it on the chin, on the nose, on up the ass. Actually.
But can fossil fuel actually go away when we still have things like jets that are like the size of an Airbus? You know, they're trains. Basically, as long as we have shipping, we're still going to need some fossil fuels, even if it's not.
So I've seen over the last year or so, because I'm a plane nerd, right?
You didn't seem that plain to me, but okay.
Boeing and Airbus are both working on green fuel alternatives, including hydrogen, including like electric motors, things like that.
Yeah, I know they're working on it, but I don't. But yeah. I'm just thinking about the feasibility of it, because you can say you're working on it and it'd be.
Well, I mean, okay,
I'm
but
working on my personality. It's not going to get any better before I die.
No,
I don't foresee like shipping. I don't foresee like shipping containers having a huge issue. I mean, think about it. If you covered that whole top of that thing in solar panels, you could run an electric motor off of that.
Thomas,
size of a small city.
Do you have any, from a scientific perspective, any thoughts about this whole? We're going to always need some form of fossil fuel.
Well, it's a acknowledged issue that aviation is one of the areas where it's going to be difficult. But on the other hand, as somebody already said, the issue with energy is the mass versus the energy that can be output. Gasoline is great for cars because you get 10 gallons in your car, which doesn't weigh much, and you can drive 300 miles with it if you got an economy car. And that was a big issue with electric, vehicles, is they had to develop a battery to get hold enough of a charge that could take you, that distance. But the hydrogen thing is that and I don't know the exact numbers, but you get pretty high energy versus the bulk. So you could substitute hydrogen for kerosene. And that would solve the problem. And if you make hydrogen, it's an electrolysis process. You just take water and break it into its two component parts, a hydrogen and oxygen. So it fits itself right directly into the transition to an electric economy versus a fossil fuel industry. So
all right. Is the book, the format, the feel of the book, is it very scientific? Is it data driven? Because we're in a place in the world where a lot of people aren't going to read anyway. We are in an anti-reading society, but especially if it feels like it's over their head. A lot of people are going to be reluctant. I can't read scientific stuff. I can't read like just data stuff. What is it? What is the feel and format of the book? Is it for people who understand science, people who are inclined to be scientifically, motivated, or is it for the general public?
It's for the general public, and I don't want to say it's dumbing down on the subject, but
you could say it. This is the Dumbing Down podcast, by the way.
Wait a minute, we are third in science. Sorry, we're not the Dumbing Down podcast.
Actually, on the good pods, we're number 3 in physics.
Physics, sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, I start out some very basic stuff like why is renewable energy better than fossil fuels, and I say some basic things that might be obvious, but fossil fuels have bulk. They have to be transported. They have to be refined and all that, which gives them a competitive disadvantage, if you will. So I go very basically what the energy is. I talk about why we got ourselves so hooked on fossil fuels, and then explain all the different things. And I try and stay away from mentioning any numbers. First of all, because people glaze over when you talk about numbers, and second of all, just then all of a sudden people challenge you and say, hey, is that number really true? So I tried to use experience and give you examples that everybody can refer to. Yeah, I lived through when the cell phones became so dominant. I lived through when microcomputers came in. I went through um, the digitizing of music and stuff like that. So I'm not raising anything that other people don't know from their own experience, and they don't have to they don't have to be a physicist or a chemist to understand this.
Very cool. All right, thank you. I hope you're right about this stuff, but I appreciate the fact that because everybody will question your stats, your numbers, and all that stuff. So you try to stay away from numbers and all that. Is there an audio book out yet? Because as I mentioned earlier, people are just reluctant to read.
Yeah, at this point, it's just ebook and a print version.
I think we got to get an audio book out there.
So I think a good marketing idea for your book would have been, whenever you're talking about fossil fuels, those pages would stink, and then when you talk about green energy, those pages would smell better, and so that people will go through and go like, see, this is what fossil fuel, and you get to the green energy, and it's all pretty nice smelling, and so people get the idea.
I really like the way that you kind of frame that argument of the shipping and all the things that the costs involved in fossil fuels that people overlook. That was one that hadn't occurred to me. I mean, green energy delivers itself.
Right.
Yeah. So
another aspect of fossil fuels is that it's a fuel. So you build a power plant, and you got to keep putting coal and natural gas into it to make it run. One of my previous experiences with hydroelectric, once you build a dam, as long as the water, the rain comes down and flows, into that dam, the electricity is almost free. I mean, it's like 2 cents a kilowatt hour when you generate electricity from hydroelectric.
Yeah.
So.
But on the other hand, we're screwing the planet so much that a lot of the water that we need to run down into those rivers aren't making it there because it's being moved to other parts of the country.
Yeah, it's even it's worse than that. Is that, well, I don't know about the flow of whether rainfall is varying that much, and because that's what basically that drives it is how much the annual rainfall is. But
rainfall and snow caps, because a lot of it comes from melting snow caps, and if the snow caps don't form in the first place, they don't get to melt in the winter. In the summer.
Yeah, but one of the other issues with hydro, unfortunately, that I had to live through is that people are concerned about fish migration and flooding lands and stuff like that. So you have the good thing about hydro, it's cheap, it's green, and then you have other people who are concerned about other issues who are standing in your way. And this might sound really cynical, but the Department of Energy controls hydro just as much as it controls the fossil fuel industry. And again, I say it sounds cynical here. I think that the administration of the whole thing favors fossil fuels over hydropower. They make it more. I guess it's very difficult to permit a hydro plant right now because hydroelectric, because of the Department of Energy makes it very difficult to put one in place. So, on the other hand, what I do put out in the book is that there are a lot of dams out there for drinking water and flood control that we're in spite of all the arguments about fish migration and all that, we're going to have those dams when they're not going away. And it's amazing. A lot of people had forethought when they built these dams. They put what's called a penstock in there. All you have to do is put the turbine in. You can start making electricity. We can get 150% increase in the amount of energy that we get from hydro just by retrofitting existing dams. So
why is there resistance to that? If you make it sound very simple and easy, why would just because of the economic gain of the fossil fuel industry in fighting that? Why is there resistance to that? That doesn't make any sense to a.
Well, there's a lot of people like take out in Oregon where they are taking some of these plants out. They're concerned about the migration of the salmon up to whatever it is, the river there. I don't know what that river is, but
let me just tell you, salmon sucks anyway. My wife is a big fan of salmon. Salmon sucks too.
But and the flooding of the land. I don't know. I mean, in Connecticut here.
If you're on,
but we're not the only ones who eat salmon. I mean, there's also bears and other things.
Bears love salmon, but
That's right.
all right. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'll stay off of that. The book, I have the link to Amazon where people can go buy the book. The book is called Solving Global Warming Will Kill the Fossil Fuel Industry. Now, you call it global warming. It doesn't matter. We call it climate. It used to be called global warming, but we thought it would be more palatable because people, what about the ice age? Wasn't global cooling going to be a thing? We changed the nomenclature. Doesn't matter. You're still using the old-fashioned global warming. Does that matter to people who are going to pick up the book?
No, not at all.
I don't know. It just seemed now the book has been out for a while. How long has the book been out?
It was released on the 9th of December.
9th of December. Have you gotten a lot of reviews on Amazon and have a lot? I'm just anticipating. Because the only people who are going to review it are people who want to fight, and this is the way social media works. It's the way reviews work. I got a bone to pick with the author. I'm gonna leave a review if I think it was great and it will help people and help humanity. Keep it to myself. Have you gotten a lot of pushback in the reviews?
No, we haven't really gotten a debate started. I'm working on that to some extent. It's, as you might know, that you can get people who you give them a free copy of the book and ask them to read it if they'll write it. I mean, you will give it to them free if they'll write a review, and I'm in the process of doing that now. So
okay, well,
and I'm working on the traditional review process with some of the the major people who review books and things like that. So.
Well, we hope it does well. I applaud your optimism. I wish more people could get it, especially me. I just, you know what? My whole life has been filled with optimism that has run amok into and run off the rails, and this is why I am a hardcore pessimist. So, is this your first and only book, or have you written other books?
Going back 20 years, I was at the point that time I was a Lotus guru. I wrote a book, Business Applications of Lotus 1, 2, 3, and then I went through. My basic background is we did research for corporations. So somebody would commission a study and they pay us $100,000, and we'd spend 3 or 4 months studying it, and then go and talk to the top 20 guys in the company and tell them this is what the story is. And lots of times we did that research by talking to their competitors and things like that. But I don't know where I was going with that, but
yeah. So the book, I asked you if you were a first-time author. So you've written a book before. The question is, are you an author now, or are you now that this book is out? Are you an author primarily, or is this just like a?
Well, historically, last year in December of 23, I'm 78 and I'm retired basically right now.
Wow. So you're young. You're a kid. Compared to me, you're a kid. I'm 98.
So
do it.
So anyway, I had all this experience, doing nonfiction and making a good living at it. So I figured, well, I'll just give this a shot. I've also been interested in space and astronomy, and so I wrote a book, Brief First Encounter, which is a very scientifically oriented science fiction book about being contacted by another, civilization, and how unlikely that might be. And it didn't really do very well. And so I said to myself, well, maybe I should go back to what I know, which is writing about technological change. And that's how I came up with writing this book. So,
very cool. I was going to suggest Stephen does a program Beyond Classified tonight, which is on Monday nights, and he talks about those kind of things, the aliens or whatever, other planets, and I think we are spending, and Musk seems to be on this, let's make Earth a bit lighter, disposable, and just go to another planet. And he's got the idea that, well, if we thaw Mars out, then we'll have plenty of water and it will become a sustainable planet. Like, we're looking to just throw the Earth away and start over again, which is, typical. It's more American than I think humanity type of attitude. Yeah.
Well, they won't have to throw Earth away if they can just lasso one of those meteorites that's just teeming with gold and all those other flakes. That way because if they get rid of the Earth, they won't have any place to bring those meteors and asteroids that they're trying to mine for metals, precious metals.
Well, I wish you good luck with the book. Again, I hope you instill more optimism in people. I'll be honest, I have not been converted to an optimist here today, but hopefully when I read the book, maybe I will be. See, the thing is, and I brought this up to Stephen because a lot of his guests, well, not a lot, one guest so far that he's had on has just reluctant to give away any content within the book and just keep saying, you got to buy the book. You got to buy the book. You haven't said that once here. But the question I have for you, do you lay out any kind of strategy towards where we should go, like having a concrete plan, or is it just we need to have a plan? We need to have a concept of a plan.
It's a good thing you should ask that question, because chapter 7 of the book says, okay, we have an industry that's in denial, that they're basically going to be out of business in 10 or 20 years, which is a very short period of time when you consider the size of the industry and how long they took to get here. So what we do is we talk about what is a reasonable way to, with the least amount of negative impact, is to get out of the industry. And we use the analogy of someone who has got cancer and they're dying. First of all, we got to get them recognized. They got to get past the denial. There's no cure to this. You're going to have to suffer. And then what we do is we talk about how do we do this with the least amount of pain. So,
Well, I think one of the first things we can do is get rid of their subsidies and make them do it on their own. That'll make them.
Amen. If you took all the money that the fossil fuel, that is probably one of the things that annoys me the most, is that if you take all the money that's placed in an industry that should not be exploring any more resources for fossil fuel, and applied that to the renewable energy field, you'd be in a lot better shape than we are now.
Yeah, to be honest, I don't think any company or any industry that's publicly traded should be getting government subsidies. Once they're publicly traded, they're already using public money. Why give them that? Why let them double dip and let the government use that money for other things?
Yeah.
Well, that's the power of lobbying.
Yeah.
I say then in that case, after we kill all the lawyers, we kill all the lobbyists. No.
No killing on this program.
All right. After we subdue all the lawyers, we subdue all the lobbyists.
Just get them drunk.
Okay.
Thomas, I appreciate you being on the program. I hope you do well with the book. We will continue to support it. I have to say, you are the best-looking guest we've ever had on this program.
I am partial to black guests myself, and it's a shame you weren't here last month for February. But
Thomas, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Is Mizejewski? Is that
Mezejewski?
You've been a great guest, and thank you for being on the program. The link to
Amazon
where you can get the book is in the description, people.
And next time we'll have your face and put the book black.
All right. Thank you for being here, Thomas. Have a great day. Thank you.
All right, you too. All right, bye-bye.
Bye. Thomas Mizejewski.
Mezejewski.
Yeah. Everything's got to be rotated around here.
Whoa.
He made the analogy of a cancer patient, and first you got to get past the denial. I think this is the problem with global warming, global climate change, is we are so still. We have I'm probably exaggerating the number here, but I think at least 10 million Americans who believe the Earth is flat. That's how much denial we have. So, but if you talk about climate change, global warming, whatever you want to call it, my estimation, and again, I have no data to back this up, but from my experience, anecdotal experience, it feels like more than half the population is in denial that climate change even exists. So, if you're going to use that cancer analogy, the patient doesn't think it's sick. The patient thinks everything is fine. So, how can you? Any thoughts on that? What do you? Was that an AM radio you're listening to?
It sounded like it.
No. Usually my phone is on mute, but occasionally I turn things up if I need to hear my phone. But I'm so used to being on mute that I forget to turn it back down.
All right.
Finish inside me.
Yes, I forgot to finish inside it.
I just got a text message from this person who was looking for a place to stay, and I told her, you can't come here until I get straightened it out with my wife. My wife says no at this point. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. And she said, oh my God, I'm gonna die.
Okay. See, I have a problem with that.
Heartless fuck in a chair.
I was just going to ask if you wanted to do showbiz.
Yeah, we can do showbiz. But first, I want to hear from Heartless. This fucking mean-hearted, cold-hearted son of a bitch who can't even walk. He's just shitting on people. Go ahead.
No, if it's that bad, go to a shelter, put in some headphones, keep your head down, and at least go somewhere to sleep for the day, somewhere warm. Pull your faculties together and figure it out.
Yeah,
don't just you're not. It's
to be fair to the heartless, cold-hearted piece of shit who's talking now. He's absolutely right. One of the if you can get from Westchester County to Shoreham, New York, you've got some fucking resources.
Dude, I can tell you right now, I'm not even in that bad of a position, but I can't go 150 miles anywhere right now. If you can do that, get to a fucking shelter, get into a hotel, find a McFucking-Donald's, get a cup of coffee, and chill for a minute. Relax.
Right, you've been to Long Island, but you haven't been to this part of Long Island. This is like fucking getting to somewhere in New Zealand. Getting to my house, it's like if you can get here, you've overcome a lot of challenges.
But that's that song was at New York, New York. If you can get here, you can get anywhere.
There's no bus that gets here. There's no train that gets here. There's no public transportation. Call the police if she's really a danger to us. So I've done this before. Whenever people have talked about suicide, I've called the police on them. This is how Dean O'Hara, who was on this program for a while. He was a comedian, not a comedian. He's a DJ. He's got MS or something. He was on social media, and he was on Twitter, and he was saying he was going to kill himself. And I looked him up, and I called him, and I finally got it through to him. And then I called the police in Manhattan. I said, this guy's threatening to kill himself, pay him a visit and all this stuff. And then he started using that as, I won't kill myself if you let me be on your show.
Oh, fuck. See, that's
right.
Oh God.
See, and I would say if I let you on the show, will you kill yourself?
That would be good for ratings.
Look, I get it, okay? I've had a lot of bullshit in life. I've gone through a lot of ups and downs. I get it. I'm in a down now. It happens. But the last thing you want to do is just fucking start using it as a call for wolf. All you're gonna do is just when you actually need it, you're fucked.
I think Liz is absolutely right, though. Who is it? Who is this Liz? Is it not Liz? Not Liz, it's not Queen Elizabeth, right? Well,
I don't think this is Queen Elizabeth, but I can't click on it to profile.
I think she's right. If I call the cops will go there. They'll insist she goes to a shelter, and then I could sleep tonight. Right? Is that the plan? I could, because all I really want to get at it is a night's sleep.
Kind of cute though.
All right, stop putting that in the face. We've read that 3 times already.
I know.
let's break the my pessimistic role here and do some show business. How about that? Let's
do some showbiz.
You know what there was last night? There was a thing, and if Ron's going to talk about that thing, I'm going to cry because that thing is not my thing.
And now, bringing you the latest in entertainment news from Hollywood, New York, and East Bumfuck, Montana. Here's our chief entertainment correspondent, Ron Kane. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Showbiz.
I just get brighter. I think I just got brighter, and I don't mean smarter. Eat it, Minuchins.
Yep, eat at Minucci's. Yep, it's Monday, so come on out to Minucci's for drier steaks. So come on out.
Wow. Yeah. So this is showbiz, ladies and gentlemen. Not this. I mean, this program. This is showbiz. This is the height of showbiz.
Yeah. And a special shout out to Gangrene Pete. Just scrape it off. So here we go. Yesterday was the Oscars, and it was streamed on Hulu as well. And Hulu had some technical difficulties yesterday during the stream. There were issues where it was not working. And the biggest complaint was they cut off the broadcast early at 10.
Oh, it's the Heidi Bowl. You guys don't get that reference.
They cut it off at 10:32, right before Best Picture and another category, and people were not happy, to say the least.
I'm happy. I wouldn't say all people. I did not know about it, but I'm happy that Hulu had problems with the stream.
Now you said they cut it off like they ended it, like it was because Hulu is streaming service. It's not like they have live television like with the Heidi Bowl. They had like a real program scheduled.
Yeah, the program was happening, and they got to 10:32, and they're like, "Oh, it's over." It was it's part like contract and part of them not understanding how a live broadcast works. That it doesn't run on time most of the time.
That's absolutely hilarious. That is.
Hilarious.
If I just may address, and this has nothing to do with show business, but Oscar's massage the prostate stream. We have one bathroom in this house, and when my prostate says it's time to pee, it's time to pee. And I tried to explain this to my wife. There's always somebody in the bathroom when my prostate says it's time to pee. And I tried to explain this to my wife, and she said, "I thought inflamed prostate makes it hard to pee." Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
but
hard, but not impossible.
And it also makes it urgent. There are two things. It makes it hard, but it also, and not your dick hard, it makes it hard to pee. But it also makes you feel like if I don't pee right now, the world is going to explode. I need to pee right now. So that's why I get angry when there's somebody in the back.
Have you asked her to massage your prostate?
I thought that's what your tongue was for.
You must be the Monopoly guy.
My tongue? Why my tongue?
Because Blind Mike says so.
Okay.
And don't forget about Gangrene Pete, like I said.
Yes.
So Best Picture was won by a movie called Anora.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, apparently it's about sex workers or sex work. So that is Best Picture for 2025.
That makes sense, I guess.
Have you seen? Has anybody seen GD? That's the kind of movie you would go see with the Rev. You would be holding hands with the Rev when you go see it, right?
I didn't even know that movie existed.
This is weird. How can it win Best Picture and nobody even heard of it?
This bit happens every year though with movies like this, and like a movie will do well, and I would be like, "Well, I never heard of it, but I heard of Transformers 4218."
Right.
So I don't know.
That was a good movie. That was a great movie.
I kind of count that argument when people are like, "Oh, I haven't seen that movie," to the same people who tell you, "I haven't decided who I'm going to vote yet."
Right. Is it a major studio thing or is it an independent? You know,
I believe it's an indie.
All right.
That's owned by some conglomerate. So Best Actor was won by Adrian Brody for The Brutalist.
That makes sense.
I think most people were thinking The Brutalist was going to win Best Picture. This is an immigration story. I have not seen The Brutalist yet, but it's supposedly supposed to be pretty good.
I've heard really good things. Yeah, I expected by the buzz it was going to get Best Picture also.
I didn't see it. Didn't even. I never heard of it. Also, so.
And don't worry, GD, no one is surprised.
Yeah, I was gonna say what?
Adrian Brody, he's kind of known for being at Oscar time for these movies that are just like, I think that The Pianist was him too, right? Years ago, and like weird movies like that, he gets recognition.
And he did Predators as well, an sci-fi action horror movie, which he was pretty good in. That was a pretty good Predator movie. This is Best Actress, Mickey Madison. She won for the movie Anora. So I guess congrats to her. Here's another one. Kieran Culkin. He won for Best Supporting Actor for a movie called A Real Pain.
A rear pain?
Yep.
A real pain.
No, that'd be his brother.
Yeah. Man, I've never felt so. I mean, we know I'm culturally unhip and out of touch with anything that's going on. But boy, so far, this Oscar recap has got me realizing it's time for me to lay down in a pit and have people throw dirt on me.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing with the Oscars is that they're awarding movies that, like, either from a technical standpoint or just true storytelling that just isn't, the same usual shit that you're going to get for the masses. I mean, like, you can go on Netflix right now and there's a new science fiction movie that has Anthony Mackie in it. And it's an okay movie, but it's more of, oh, look, more CGI aliens.
Yeah.
Elevation.
Yeah. Yes. Yep. That was it. Did you watch that? I'm guessing.
I watched it and I figured it out like within the first. As soon as I saw the first alien couldn't go beyond 8,000 feet, I said, "That's programming." You can't, what do you mean? You can't go 8,001 feet? No, you gotta stop. No, that's programming. So I figured it out with like as soon as I saw that alien do that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, my wife watched the entire movie. I was in the room with her. That's all I can say.
Snoring?
Yeah,
I would be snoring.
So this is Zoe Saldana. She won for Amelia Perez. She won Best Supporting Actress.
She was great in Guardians of the Galaxy, man.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. That's a whole other Perez. Juan Perez, right?
Yeah,
makes green sexy.
Then
did make green sexy, that's for sure.
Yep, another Sean Baker won for Best Director for Anora. Anora.
This has to be.
Here's where I'm really out of touch because I thought Best Picture went to the director. You get an extra. That's like having a pitcher win an MVP. Like, wait a minute, you're getting both awards. Like, you get the Cy Young and the MVP. It's the Best Picture he got, and he gets Best Director. That's on. They don't need two. You got your props with the Best Picture. Now go home. No, I'm wrong.
Nope. And speaking of movies, online outrage has started for Shrek 5. So apparently, of course, they're going to churn out another Shrek movie because Mike Myers must need a new house, or maybe Eddie Murphy needs an addition put onto his house. They're
Wait
making
a minute, but the donkey's dead. How are they going to do it without? Oh my God, this is so.
Donkey didn't die.
So the big controversy is how the Shrek characters look. Like, they have aged Shrek and they aged Donkey, and people are upset about this. And
right.
The people that made Sonic actually responded to all this, telling the Shrek people, you might want to listen to what your fans are saying. Because the Sonic people went through this like a couple years ago when they first released the Sonic trailer, and Sonic looked terrible.
Listen,
there was so much backlash, they actually changed the characters in the movie.
If this is your biggest concern in life, you got it made, man. If this is your big problem, that fucking fake animated characters are starting to look older, or they're drawing them older or whatever. If that's your biggest problem in life, I want your life. You got it fucking made. You have a fucking perfect life if this is your fucking biggest problem.
On the plus side, though, Donkey's cock is now to scale.
Wow.
Oh, decades. Okay, worth
But it doesn't
seeing.
work without a couple of pills or something.
And look how much gray pubic hair is on his cock. Speaking of hilarious, Bill Burr is on the slate this month. Drop Dead Years comes out the 14th on hilarious.
Will the stream hold up? That's the question.
Maybe. Yeah, as long as it's not live,
As long as it's not live, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, they should use
Then
StreamYard.
enjoy the suffering, everybody. That's showbiz.
Yeah.
Is he trying to tickle his palm?
I don't know.
I don't know what the hell he's doing
I think
there.
Trump is going, look, I got a fake gun. And Zelensky's saying, like, what the fuck, dude? That's what I get it. That's my reading on this. Showbiz.
Yeah, can you imagine being in Ukraine and you see that idiot Trump on television talking like this to your guy? You're like, these Americans are terrible.
No, this is we're gonna lose showbiz. I said this on Facebook, and I'm very sincere about this. At this point in my life, I would absolutely be the worst fucking soldier. I can't shoot straight. I can't see straight, all of stuff. But if you want to put me on the front line to spare a Ukrainian soldier, just to let me know. Pick me up, man. I'm going there. I'll die for the cause of Ukraine. That's how much I care.
Well, even the trans stuff doesn't make sense in the military. So you're willingly getting rid of people who want to be in the military and do the job and fight, and you want to get rid of those people?
Yeah,
that makes no sense.
And have them led by Pete Kegseth.
It's a very troubling world. I don't know what we do with it. What do we do with it? Just flush the whole fucking world down? That's what we're gonna do, right? Get rid of it all. Get rid of it all.
No, because I have no place else to go.
All right. Do we know who our guest is tomorrow? Does anybody have a fucking idea who's on the show this week?
No, I think it's Crackback James is on the show tomorrow. Crackback James.
No, Crack the Sky is on the show tomorrow. We'll have Crack the Sky in hour 1. I think actually tomorrow.
Sorry.
Tales from the Crypt. Alan Katz, no relation to Barry Katz, the guy who he produced a lot of shows for HBO. Tales from the Crypt is one of the biggest one, but the Crypt Keeper is his main character that he created and wrote all the words for everything the Crypt Keeper said. I'm interested in having this conversation.
Yeah, I wish I kept. I used to collect all this Crypt Keeper stuff back in my 20s and 30s when the show was really popular. I had the trading cards. I had the little thing. I used to have the voice. And
did you say in the 1920s and 30s?
When I was in my 20s and 30s, I had I had a little head that I could do the voice for, and it was.
This is when the Ink Drops and Crack the Sky did a dual a project together. Ink Spots. I'm sorry, I said Ink Drops.
I didn't know what you were talking about for a second. I have no idea.
Ink Spots and Crack the Sky.
I think I remembered that. It almost shut the music industry down because people are like, God, we should end music because of this.
That's right. Yeah.
One day y'all going to realize the true genius behind Crack the Sky, and I'm going to sit there and go, I told you. They are a really good group.
You know what? You would think after all this time, I would have listened to one Crack the Sky song. Still have. I've heard not one.
Wait, these are real bands? I thought these were.
Crack the Sky is a real band, and they're still touring.
Excuse me while I crack this guy.
Now the Ink Spots, there are no more. At least no more original members.
Right. No,
I killed the last member by mistake.
Yeah, they became the Rorschach test.
Which led to the comic strip.
Now, Adrian Brody made me think of Dylan Brody, right? Because this woman who is saying she's about to kill herself, she worked for Dylan Brody. Dylan Brody fired her when she got sick. According to her story, she was like managing or a booking agent for Dylan, but he fired her because she got sick. This doesn't.
What's
sound
her first name? What's her first name?
Pamela. Now
that's not the name I have for her.
Let me add, because you know Dylan Brody a little bit. I know Dylan Brody pretty well. It doesn't. He's a guy who has a huge heart. He's an empath.
Yes.
It doesn't sound like that doesn't add up. That Dylan Brody would just cut somebody off because they got sick.
No, he did have a representative. He did somebody who was doing, I guess, like an assistant or something, who was handling booking and stuff like that. And they kind of disappeared on him. He didn't even realize they had quit. And so, because I was working with him on something, and I was using her as a go through for this particular thing. And I said to Dylan, I said, Dylan, she hasn't gotten back to me for this project. She hasn't gotten back to me. And he was like, what do you mean? And then she wasn't getting back to him either, but it was a different name. Pam was not the name.
I don't have the energy to challenge the claim she's making, but you know what? When she, as soon as she said that, it's like, I know Dylan a little bit. He's a guy who would probably go out of his way to take her in if she was he's in LA, so he can't, but he's a guy who would open his door to her. I have no doubt about that. If she's
and look, Dylan Brody has not gotten rid of me as a friend. So I would.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna basically cut somebody off, I would start with you.
Yes, yeah, from the beginning. Yeah. Well, as a matter of fact, he wouldn't even have had me for a friend.
Right. So we're coming up on a anniversary of note, an anniversary of Willie losing the power cord and getting off the show. It seemed like more than a year ago, obviously.
Actually, and we're also coming up on my 1 year as well, being on the show.
You replaced Willie. You took Willie's chair.
Well, I showed up my first time on here.
You took his cord. You took his cord.
You had your own chair.
My first time here, he was on the show with me.
Oh.
Yeah, because you were a guest.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is going to be one of those anniversaries when everyone's going to remember where they were on the day that Willie lost his cord, except for Willie's cord.
We were all right here.
Yeah, I remember he came for St. Patrick's Day. He had wanted to see New York and St. Patrick's Day, but I don't think he actually got to do the St. Patrick thing in Central Park with the madness that can be. He came to see a billboard that I paid way too much money for and lost. I got no fucking return on investment for. He wanted to see his picture on the billboard, and as it turned out, his picture was like this big. He traveled from New Mexico to New York to try to find a picture of himself this big, because that would have he made it in show business. I was trying to tell him that's not you're making it in show business. That's being paid for somebody to show a postage stamp picture of me, and you just happen to be an extra fucking. But then I took him to dinner, dropped him off at the airport, where he stayed for 3.5 days, lost the power cord to ever be on the program, and was trying to be on the program on his phone, and was like,
that sucks,
a full minute behind on everything, and like interrupting and like, yeah. And so the reason he was not on the program was technical. He was not kicked off for any reason other than get your tech shit together, and he hasn't been back since. So
he's still trying to get his tech shit together.
Yeah. I was thinking, because Robert Taylor, who was promoing something, he's been off the program for about 1.5 years. I don't still to this day don't know, but I have guessed that GD's appearance scared Robert away. I don't know. He's whatever.
You know, he doesn't speak to me when we're on the another thing together, interview thing together.
Yeah,
I'll speak to him, but he's like, he looks like he doesn't know who I am.
Do you think it's a racist? Because he's not a racist guy, even though he's from the South. He makes fun of racists in the South. What do you think his beef is? First of all, do you agree that, or is it just coincidence that when you came on, he without words, he's out of my life?
I don't think you're really wrong, but I don't want to say anything that makes it sound like that I'm an intimidating person. But it's got to be his own insecurity, not anything that I did.
Yeah, you know what? That might be it because you are outspoken, and I don't say that as a negative thing. I think you speak your mind and are assertive in what your belief and things you talk about. And I think that kind of might have intimidated him a little. I don't know what it is, but
And I think I made fun of him also, but I'm not certain. But I make fun of everybody.
yeah. Well, have you made fun of me?
Not to your face.
Okay.
I would never make fun of you to your face. I have too much respect for you to make fun of you to your face.
Well, you're the one who has respect for me. I knew there was somebody who had respect for me. I just couldn't remember who it was.
Not just respect. I have too much respect for you.
Wow.
I have respect that you haven't even earned
Why don't you spread some of that
yet.
around? You have too much. Give some, dole it out.
I should. That I'm a hoarder. I'm a hoarder.
All right. Thursday, I'm not going to be here.
You will need to show me how to do. Is there anything special I have to do to get us live on Instagram other than touch Instagram?
You can't really do it. You have to have access to my account, and so no, I can't do that. So we won't be on Instagram on Thursday unless
we also need to connect about showing me how to schedule people, because I just scheduled March. All of March is now officially booked for Beyond Classified.
Wow. Oh yeah, that we want to replug Beyond Classified again tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Stephen will be MUFONing out. He'll be MUFONing out with Robert Spearing.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. I'm a MUFON fan. I was a member. Love these guys.
Speak American.
So.
You were a member of MUFON?
I was a dues paying member, but I wasn't an investigator.
A douche paying member? A douche paying?
Dues paying.
Douche.
No, I think that's Doge. Isn't that Doge?
That's Doge.
Doge?
So again, Thursday I won't be here. The Rev Jelly Roll will be
I get to meet the Rev?
Well, the scheduled guest is John Bivens. Now, Mr. John is I'm uncomfortable by John. I wrote him a letter saying basically he creeps me out a little bit. I feel like, first of all, I don't get his ramblings. I'm not into somebody else preaching to me religious stuff. But when I get phone calls through Facebook Messenger that are unsolicited, that makes me uncomfortable. Like I didn't give you my phone number to call me. I didn't ask you to call me. Why are you calling me through Facebook Messenger? You feel like this isn't untrue. Why does Facebook even allow that? First of all, that people.
I don't understand that either, because I don't like calling people. If I don't have your phone number, I don't want to call you through Facebook Messenger.
They should have a close friend feature where, like, you can add somebody as a friend, but then they can message you. But if you add them as a close friend, then they can like call or video call.
Right. So John,
that would make sense to me.
It's a scheduled guest. Now he has said some derogatory things against GD and the Rev. He called GD Dr. Dreads. Yesterday, he was on Instagram during church saying that if this was the guy you're saying I was associated with, I don't know this for whatever he said.
Clown.
Because obviously, I think
never call a comedian.
I think he was looking for a real. I don't want to say real minister. I think he was looking for a real down to earth church service when he got a little bit of comedy and didn't realize it was comedy. It's like,
thank you for saying a reverend. He said he got a little bit of comedy.
Yeah, a little bit of comedy. Yeah.
That's better than none.
Oh. I'm still hung up on a couple of weeks ago when he forgot who his own mother was. But but I think he mixed up. I think he was looking for a church and he got comedy and didn't know what to make of it. But so the Rev will be hosting the show, and there might be some, and he might back out of it according to the letter I sent him. Like, dude, whatever. So it is.
Well, if he backs out, I mean, I can't. I made plans to be someplace else so the Reverend can be here. So I can't undo my plans.
I'm excited to meet the Rev. I've never met the. I've known you for a year, and I've never met the Rev.
Well, we're never in the same place at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I've always hung out with GD. Even when we met in New York, GD, I still never met the Rev. It was just you.
Yeah. Well, if it's any consequence, he hasn't met you either. If it's
Well,
just,
and also I would like to say I like the Rev a lot better than I like GG.
Most people do.
Oh. I do.
Most people do.
He's a good guy. I mean, he's a good guy. I don't see why they're such close friends that they can't even remember whose mother is what. But
that's and which one told which story.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
And
was that your story or mine?
It's really interesting that their wives take vacations at the same time and don't really go together, which is really, and they go to the same places at the same time. And
they do. No, they do go together.
Oh,
is it weird when you both are sleeping with your wife at the same time?
Listen,
no, as a matter of fact, it's weird when we're not.
Why'd you have to do it? All right. So tomorrow, everybody bring your Crypt Keeper outfits. Do you?
I know. I'm so upset because I don't have any of my Crypt Keeper stuff.
Oh, and I just want to give a shout out to emotional unstable Jeff. Good luck. Hopefully you accomplish what you're doing today.
Who is it? What do you mean? What is that about?
That's the chat room that Ron's watching. Ron is monitoring a different chat room.
I think he's just giving a big middle finger to everybody you mentioned at the beginning of the show. And
emotionally unstable Jeff. I don't. Where are you guys seeing this shit?
I think he's like second to Blind Mike.
Oh,
it's a different one. Different.
Hey, speaking of emotionally unstable Jeff, he won't be at Mr. Tongue Comedy Showcase tonight at HMAC.
No,
but you can if you want.
He'll be at Tongue Up My Prostate.
That's disgusting.
Tasteless.
Has that black guy been back, Ron? The one that says you got to eat the pussy. Has he been back since last time I saw him?
Yeah, he came back one time, and he tried doing that bit again. He's like, "You should put me up because I'm so good. I'll get." It's like, no, you're not. You're not good.
I mean, but is he wrong?
All right, Stephen with the Crypt Keeper, very good Crypt Keeper impersonation there. Now, with just a little laugh, but it was a pretty good one. Reminded me that Stephen does a great Alex Jones, one of the best Alex Jones impersonations that I've heard.
It's evolved. It's evolved. It's gotten better. It's evolved.
I saw a clip last night and reminded there was a time in Austin where Doug Stanhope had Alex Jones open up for him and kill. When I say kill, I don't mean in a good way. Kill all the energy in the room. I mean, it was a comedy show, and Alex Jones was just doing his Alex Jones stuff, and people were booing him. And
what's the deal with all the dead kids in schools?
Yeah,
the kids look like
retards.
retards.
That's a really great comedy bit there, Alex. And Stanhope had to come back and win the room back. And that video was out. I was watching it last night. It is just a blueprint on how to save a night when you've had just the worst possible.
That's matter of fact, that's a new challenge that comedians are being asked to do, especially for TikTok. Is like if you consider yourself a great comedian, you make yourself follow the worst possible person to see if you can get the room back.
Alex Jones would definitely qualify.
I've been guilty of asking to go up after somebody that I knew was going to do horrible. I have done that.
Right. All right. So that's a program for you. Now I have to go deal with this person who is threatening to kill herself because.
Just keep the dog pound in the loop, man. We'll keep you grounded so you don't do something dumb.
And if you need help burying a body,
you know it.
If you need help burying a body, I'm your guy.
Rod,
I'm not going up to West. Listen, if she kills herself, I'm not going up to Westchester. I'm going to call the police up there, and I'll give them her name and say, "Look." But where do they look her up? You can just go and walk around the street. She's homeless.
Well, here's what you do. Okay, if you actually want to get her help by using the police, just tell her, "Hey, listen, I've got something figured out. Meet me here at this place at this time." Google a McDonald's near her or something.
No, I'm going to tell her to go to the first precinct.
And give her phone number. Give her phone number to the police. They can track her through the cell towers.
Well,
see, that's why you're here. That's why you're here, for the good advice. All right.
Ron, when you played the Alex Jones voice, I thought it was echoing when I did my voice. It is getting good. I dig it.
Wow.
And
you can't even tell when you're speaking and not speaking.
Not when Alex Jones is talking.
Speak American.
All right, so that's a program for you today. Listen, have a big heart for people, but do what you can to help people. That's all. I know I'm a grumpy old bastard, but I don't want to see anybody kill themselves. I don't.
Matt, look, I
have a list of people that I want to do that, but I can't say that list on
Trump Vance. That's where it ends.
I'm the guy. I'm the one that I'm the guy that like took my daughter. We bought donuts and we went and had breakfast with a homeless vet. And I believe in helping people that deserve to be helped. But like I said, when they start yelling wolf, there's a problem. And like I said, when you know that there's big-hearted people out there that are like, not this time, there's a really good possibility. There's a really good reason why you should probably stay away from it.
All right. Beyond that,
Stephen, I got a message from you, and thank you. It's not necessary, but thank you.
All right. Beyond Classified with Ebenezer Scrooge tonight. Ebenezer Scrooge and Beyond Classified.
I got a T-shirt for you, Matt. You should get a T-shirt made up that says "Big Heart, Big Stick with a Big Old Dick."
Oh, and prostate.
I'd wear that.
And prostate, and an inflamed prostate.
Speak American.
So until tonight, 9 p.m.
We didn't address that. We're gonna address that tomorrow. That executive order where we have to speak English now in the country.
¿Dónde está?
Yeah.
Finish inside me.
Come this day.
We have to speak what? No English.
Yeah, and that's the weirdest thing is that Trump doesn't even speak English, but the rest of us have to.
Do you know how to say "turn on your radio" in Swahili?
Yeah.
No, but Alex Jones can.
Turn on radio. Oh.
I'm coming for you.
Finish inside me.
to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.